Ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
All right, party people in the place to be, vandals, and all you holiday shoppers out there. This is a brand new episode of How'd We Get Here? This is our 4th annual Naughty or Nice special. And before we get into it, man, I just want to give Joe a big round of applause for like all he did for this episode. Like he really stretched out his whole butthole for this one. So give him
Thanks for gaping for us.
yes,
We appreciate you.
full goatsy on this one. So yeah. So yeah, man. Joe, what does this entail tonight for the people who haven't been around for our 3 previous
Well, this is kind of a fast and loose version of a best of, year of, end of, whatever, your favorites of the year. And we decided to like tie it into the holidays. So we call it the Naughty and Nice episode, where we pick our favorites that make the nice list and maybe some not so favorites that make the naughty list.
But naughty can also be a good thing. If it's particularly like abrasive or, naughty, but in a good way. Yeah.
It's good to be naughty once in a while.
Yeah.
Santa, I'm sure Miss Santa isn't always nice. She's probably naughty sometimes.
Yeah. That figgy pudding like the O'Dare family.
Yeah.
Time to be horny, from what I understand. So
what was it? Only if you promise I can eat it, or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we'll all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and then what was it in the X-Men one?
I was thinking really dirty thoughts with his big tree.
Yeah, out in the snow.
The tree that might be too big for the room. I'm like, what are you getting at there?
It's a very small and restrained tight space. Anyway.
Yeah.
Comics from the 90s, man. They were horny.
Christmas was a time to be horny in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, did you want to go around real quick, Johnny, and see what the people have been up to for Christmas and the holidays and stuff like that?
It sounds good to me, man. Yeah, you go ahead and start the rotation, man. Puff, puff, give. You know how it goes.
All right. We'll start with Cookie, and we'll come back around to me. I'll finish with me. So, Cookie, how have your holidays been?
They've been quiet, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing too
Nice.
crazy. Yeah.
Spent time with the family.
Spend time with the family. I got no baking done, which
No baking.
can you believe it?
Why?
My heart is broken.
Are you usually a big baker for the holidays?
Yeah. I'm a cookie lady, so
Yeah, I guess. Goes with the territory.
What's your signature cookie?
rainbow cookies.
What exactly is it? Sprinkles or like M&Ms, or what's a rainbow cookie?
Rainbow
Italian?
Yes, it's Italian. And so they're basically almond cookies in sheets that it's 3 layers with
So you put
apricot
them-
jam
Okay.
in between. You wait them overnight so they get really dense, and then you put chocolate on them the next day, and you cut them up into bars. And they're
Got you.
amazing.
And you didn't make it this year, so you denied your family the wonderful treat of
I
rainbow
did.
cookies.
I will repent this weekend.
Bah humbug.
No,
You're gonna get the ghost visiting you for sure now.
I am. I'm a Scrooge. So.
Well, at least that's all right. A relaxing holidays, because it can get hectic with family and running around. And
Yeah. And I
you
waited like last minute to do everything. So I have no one to blame but myself.
yeah, well, I think that's a common theme for a lot of people. Last minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Chase, man, how have your holidays been?
They've been hectic. I'm glad to sit down and talk to you guys. We had my son's 6th birthday on the 21st, so we had a party for that. I made like a buffet of Mexican food, like a bunch of different salsas and stuff, and then we had that party. And then for Christmas, my parents decided that they liked that idea, so we were having Mexican for Christmas. So I had to make all the salsas and stuff again that they wanted, and the guacamole and all that. And my dad made his. My mom and dad love cooking. He had like a recipe for these chicken burritos that we ate growing up. He just made a whole bunch of platters of those. It was good. It was a fun time. It's just a lot of kids in our family. So my parents had a lot of kids. We've had several kids each. So it's just hectic. And
It's a
we made
loud
this steak.
Christmas.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
we're everybody opens at once family, so like everyone's just handing and ripping. Like
That's
I was
fun.
on baby duty, so like I have a 2-year-old nephew, so I had to take care of him the whole time where everyone could open up presents and everything. So it was hectic. And on top of that, I decided to get my son that Target checkout lane, so it's like a big setup for kids that looks like they work at Target. It's a checkout lane at beach.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's a credit card it comes with, like you can ring up, like it's
So
like
it's
a whole. They have to twist the knob, but the conveyor belt goes, and like, and I did not anticipate how long that was going to take me to put together. So I started that like 10:30, and that was a mistake. So
Does it come with a red polo shirt and a pair of khakis?
no, but it does come with a name tag, like, and it keeps putting it on, and just keeps ringing stuff up and giving me just a little Target bags of stuff. Like,
So cute.
oh, it's
So
adorable, but man, I didn't anticipate all that. So,
So he's
I'm
learned
gonna
how
have
to
a
use
good-
your credit card then?
huh?
I said he's learned how to use your credit card then?
Oh yeah. It also came with a fake phone that had like the Circle app on it, and you can tap the phone. Like it's wild.
Call for
But
help. The line's too long, kind of thing.
yeah,
So it's kind of like the same idea as like you get those mini kitchens for your kids.
yeah. Well, that's what
Kinda
my
same
son got.
idea.
My
Yeah.
son loves mini kitchens. It's his dream is to work at a McDonald's. He says like he just sits in a little mini kitchen and fake makes food all the time. So he's working 2 jobs now. He's got the kitchen and he's got Target.
Yeah. Cool.
But so it's all been hectic. But
Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
Now
Big
it's just clean.
families. It's normal
Yeah.
with big families, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Al, how have your holidays been?
Well, mine was quite the opposite. We had a very dark, very quiet Christmas. I
Oh,
made
did
my
the power
kids-
go out?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nosferatu style. I made them sit down quiet and open their presents somberly.
Oh my god.
After
As they all
each
open
gift-
cold.
after each gift, I made them look me in the eye. Tell me
Then-
thank you.
Then you served supper,
That's
made
what I
them sit at the
got.
table, and waited till it got cold before they're allowed to eat.
No, it was cool. I think the funniest thing that probably happened was, you guys know Leah. She's my kid's godmother, and she
Yep.
sent the boys socks, and Damien opened them, and he goes, "Socks? I got socks. I wear socks." And I was like, okay. And you know what? I love that the bar is so low for you. Because but we did get them like RC spiders and RC snakes, so that was like interesting to see in the middle of the night. It wasn't very cool, but yeah, it was nice. It was quiet. It was just us and the kids.
Mm.
And I promise there were smiles.
Cool.
Hey, Alex in the chat. Not if you're Hot Frosty on Netflix. It's a magic scarf that brought him back to life.
Oh,
That
how
was
many
such a
times have you
bad
watched
movie.
that this
You
season?
saw Hot Frosty too?
Yeah, Pat put it on the other day. Yeah. That's
I'm
a guy
curious
who
to see Dean's
starts where he's
interpretation of
streaking
Hot
through town.
Frosty.
Was it erotic?
How erotic was it? Scale
There
1 to
was
10.
there was a romantic element, but it wasn't fair. Like I think the most erotic part is at the beginning when he comes to life and he's naked and he's running around town.
Oh, that's right,
naked.
because it would be humans together, not her and a snowman. That's what I would watch.
Yeah.
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 And he eats ice, so he's a cannibalistic snowman.
Huh.
Well, he's
Yeah.
got to stay cold, otherwise he'll melt. And like,
Exactly. Yeah.
So she just shakes a bottle of ice and she's like, "Is this doing it for you?"
So yeah, it's like a Hallmark type.
yeah, it's
cheesy
got Lacey
movie.
Chabert in it, so like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much like
Yeah.
one
Pat-
of the
Pat-
primetime movies, but
Pat gets into those kind of movies there, the Hallmark crap. So yeah. All right. D man, how has your holidays been so far?
It was great. I've been on vacation. I've been eating a lot of ham.
So
a
you're
lot
a
of
ham family,
cookies.
no turkey.
Yeah, definitely ham. Ham and prime rib. So
Oh,
yeah,
fancy.
mom and pop, they did it up.
nice.
But yeah, that's it. You know what else I've been doing? I've been sitting around watching trashy television. I've been watching Mama June smoke crack
Yes.
on Mama June Hot or Not.
Yeah.
I've been really into that. What else?
Dude, you
90
might
Day
make me go back to Twitter.
Yeah, I can't stay out of it. I
You
love
might
it.
make me go back.
Mama June, she's from Honey Boo Boo, right?
Yeah. And there's so many good quotes in it. She's like smoking crack, and she's like, "Yeah, I know I sold your house,
Yeah.
but I was smoking crack. I couldn't help it."
What'd you do with all the money, Mama?
Yeah, exactly.
I was smoking crack.
Me and Gino were smoking crack, 2 ounces a day. Like, I didn't think it was humanly possible that you could smoke 2 ounces of crack cocaine in a day. I don't know how much the average
impressive.
crack smoker uses, but 2 ounces seems like a lot.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
that is quite a lot.
I don't know. I have no basis for crack smoking, so
me either. I've never tried it.
And her go-to is like, whatever man she's with, I'm gonna get your teeth fixed.
Yeah, that is her line. That's how she locks them down.
Yeah.
And she fixes their teeth, but she fixes their teeth with her daughter's money.
Yeah.
It's like the filthiest, most. I don't know. I love the shit. That's what I've been doing. I'm a fucking mess.
So this is a real show. This isn't something you made up.
Oh no, this is like American folklore. Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Yeah, it's so crazy you couldn't make that shit up, right?
No.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Johnny, man, what have your holidays been?
Pretty good. We got some Nerf guns. We've been playing with
Ooh.
the cats with those, man. They love it, but we got to get it with the darts away from them pretty fast because they try to eat them. But
Yeah.
I've been doing that, and then like Dean, Ham, and then like I told Cookie off air, like I've just been trying to watch the rest of Royal Pains before they take it off of Netflix. So
Well, they just put it on there.
I don't know. It
Recently.
says that it's leaving in on the
Really?
30th. So yeah, and like I never finished the show when it originally aired, so I'm caught up to like where I was, which is like the middle of season 4. So
It's been less than 6 months for sure that it's been on there.
It was on Hulu forever. Is it not? Is it going back there? Or?
probably.
It probably is, yeah. That's what
We'll
Twilight
see.
does. It rotates every 6 months.
We'll see if it
Not
makes
that I watch
Johnny's
Oh, you can watch it.
old but new list.
No, because I watched it when it was old too, or when it was new.
Don't give it away. People have to watch to see if it's on your list, man.
He's ruined the
for it.
anticipation.
Well, that's it. I'm logging off now that I know.
Oh no, but
Bye, guys.
Dr. Odyssey, which is Royal Pains on water, like that
Too
might make my
horny
list.
for me. It's too horny for me. I swear.
Too
And
horny,
I'll
like gets
yeah.
you worked up. Too horny.
No,
or...
the opposite. Like
Oh,
they're
okay.
like they're already doing stuff episode 1, and I'm like, you're not saving nothing for mid-season.
Yeah.
You guys
putting
are
all of
already a
it up
throuple.
front.
They're like a throuple in the first episode. I'm
You're-
like, whoa, relax.
They're like
It's your
Slow it
first. It's your
down.
first trip. It's your first departure. Relax.
it's like reality TV pre-jacking, man.
Not gonna have nothing left for the main docking.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, so my holidays, kind of like Cookie, it's been a little more quiet this year. My mom's down at our place this year, and just we don't. Our Thanksgiving's a lot further than you guys, right? So we do my mom does the turkey and all that stuff. So she made supper and had some supper. Watched one of my favorite movies because my sister had never seen it, and I was going through Disney, and she's like, "Oh, I want to watch that." So my mom made it, I think, maybe an hour into it, but I'll get into that. It's one of my picks. So.
Hot Frosty or
Yeah.
John, I think Johnny kind of knows what I'm getting at. So
Mm.
I was working on mocking up the picks while that movie was running because I'd already seen it. So so that was pretty much our
You wanna say
holidays.
the title?
Well, I'll touch on it later. It'll actually be one of my
okay.
picks.
It's the tease.
It's
the art
red
of the
one.
tease.
So my mom got to bed early because of that. I think everyone was in bed by 10:30, I think. So that's
You
pretty
put
early.
it on and they all went to bed early.
Mm.
My mom did because she doesn't
She's like,
that
no,
type
no,
of,
Joe, this isn't.
Yeah, she's
This
not
is
into
a
that
This
type
ain't
of
it.
stuff. Yeah, she's not
Yeah.
into that type of movie. She likes crime dramas, police dramas, stuff like that. And
Mm.
it was like a Marvel movie, so yeah. She was like, "Yeah, this is nonsense." And then she's like, "I'm tired." They've been doing a lot. We've had stuff every night leading up to Christmas too, so it's been like 3-4 days of just
Mm.
going to friends, having suppers, and coming home late for like 3-4 straight days. So Christmas we took it easy, and yeah, so it was nice. It was nice to relax. Mhm. All right, so let's get into it. Our naughty and nice list. So we broke it down into 5 categories or 6. We have a comics category where you have your book of the year, creator, and well, we have an old but new, which you could apply to any category. It's basically something you discovered this year that didn't necessarily come out this year that you liked, or it could be something you completely hated that you just want to shit on as well. So I think most people went with the nice list for the old but new. And we have a music category, we have a show, series, TV category, we have a movie category, and we have a dealer's choice where people could just mention anything they love from this past year, and there's no rules for that category. There's no restrictions. It could be food. It could be anything really. So
Wild card.
yeah. So
Yeah.
just something that you loved in 2024 that doesn't have to be entertainment or media based. So those are our categories. I don't think I missed any, Johnny.
No, you got. Oh, you didn't. You said movies twice, and you forgot to say music. But yeah.
Oh, I thought I started with music right now. Anyway, we have a music category too, which coincidentally will be our first category. All right. So, all right. So I loaded up all the picks, and first one on the screen here will be Cookie's pick. So we'll go with Cookie's pick for her nice list of her album this year. Go ahead, Cookie.
And it's Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this album because it's all over the place in the best way possible, you know, where it's like fun and sexy and sad. And honestly, like of all the media I have posted about this year on social media, this is the only thing where every single person was like, we were all in each other's DMs, like, this is so good. What's your favorite song? You know, what's your favorite song? It felt like the great equalizer
Yeah.
this year. So it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't listened to it, so I'll take your word for it. But I like Billie Eilish. Any songs I've heard from her, she kind of falls into that same category as, let's say, a Lady Gaga for me. Like, I don't mind Lady. I don't hate her music, like, but I don't love it. But I enjoy it when I hear it. So Billie Eilish kind of falls into that same category for me. So I'm sure I'll hear a song occasionally here and there because Pat likes them. So you know, I'll definitely probably be hearing some tunes from it.
Yes.
Has anyone else listened to the album?
Yes, and it's good. But what's most important is the meow mix. Am I right, Cookie? The way I sing that to my daughter and she refuses to talk to me is the greatest thing that she's ever given me.
So give us, you're gonna give us an example, or
Oh, you want me to?
I don't know.
Yes.
It's completely up to you.
It's like meow 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 meow. And my daughter's like 13, and the way she cringes at me, she's like, "Just stay off the internet." I'm like, "Cool, I will." But after we sing this together. But I do think there's like an age. I think I think her music is cool, but I would look at you twice, Joe, if I was like, Billy was on your top 5.
Like, really?
You relate?
For sure. There. I forgot to put a few of them in order, but there.
And she's
that's
just
good.
a fun person, I feel, in general. She has
Yes.
good energy, so I don't mind her music at all.
How much of her music is a result of her brother, and how much of it is a result of her?
I feel like it's a 50-50.
A
I
50
think,
50
collab.
shot
I
there?
think
Yeah.
her brother just kind of comes up with the melodies and shit, but she writes all her own lyrics and and her vocal patterns. I think he just kind of comes up with the instrumental parts of it
Okay.
sometimes too. I think she helps write even that now. And
Okay.
And
So
do
I
you
know
ever
he-
see somebody and you're like, you don't really know who they are, but you know who they are, and then you see them in something, and you're like, "What are you doing here?" Because there's that new show on Peacock, Laid, and Phineas, he was one of the people that the lady sleeps with, and I was like, "Phineas, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Wait, am I just saying names because I'm saying names?"
Yeah.
And so I googled it, and it was like, "Yeah, what is Phineas doing in Laid?" And I was like, "See, I know my
Wasn't
white
just
men.
me. Yeah.
I knew it."
Cool. Yeah, I was curious because I know he kind of plays a big part in her music and stuff.
Mhm.
So
more
was
when they
just-
were younger, from what I
Mhm.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, he really like pushed her because he thought she was talented. So he kind of,
Yeah.
from what I understood, yeah.
I have a Billie Eilish question.
Yes.
So the only thing I really know about her is I was following it when she was dating some like 30-something-year-old guy, and I thought it was really gross. Are there any songs about dating gross 30-year-old guys?
There's a song where she talks about stealing your dad and fucking him. I know that. Though.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you think that's
true.
a
But every girl
reference?
goes through that, so I don't think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she did a
You-
whole song about their breakup, which is really
yeah,
sad.
that's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why, Dean? There's a
Awful.
song out there about you.
I didn't date an 18-year-old. Not very well.
She promised she'd get his teeth fixed, man. What could he say?
The song
He
is
was
called
like,
Upstate.
which is disgusting. Then fill in the room to see how we reacted to it before,
Yeah.
you know.
Which
All right. Next up on the music list is Elle's pick.
Oh, I thought I was last. Mine is
Nah.
Kendrick Lamar, GNX, and anything else he might have dropped this year. I don't know if he has, but just being from the same general area, it was really cool to see him shine this year and then get to do the Super Bowl solo.
This was the Secret album he dropped, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Just
one
the
with
mustard
the
one.
yeah, mustard song.
Yes.
That's it. The
TV
mustard
off.
song.
Yeah, and it was really cool because he put a lot of like local people on that
Mhm.
normally wouldn't get the recognition on that album. And it was like, if you listen to it, it is like the epitome of LA, like the West Coast beats and sounds and stuff. So it was really cool. As were his diss tracks.
I think I listened to the mustard song because I was curious because everyone was going crazy for the mustard song just to have reference a little bit. Yeah.
Well, my favorite on the album is probably Hey Now. But yes, there's a lot. It's just a solid album that you can listen to from beginning to end. If you're into that kind of West Coast sound, because I know not everybody is. So, but again, being from that area and hearing it was really cool.
Awesome. Well, I mean, it's getting a lot of play, right? So
Yeah, my Spotify's playlist is always filled with Kendrick Lamar. Like just when I do the DJ, it's constantly popping up. So he's everywhere right now.
Also, we don't have to acknowledge AI right now, but the AI DJ on Spotify, how awful is he? He will be
I know.
like, "Oh, let's play some of your biggest songs from this year," and then play like "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" 3 times, and then play like the soundtrack from Final Fantasy VII. Now, I get it, but also I don't get it.
is that Ice-T? Did he lend his voice for the?
No, Joan, be very careful.
Why? Careful
No,
about what?
I think it's just the AI voice.
Yeah, well, it sounds a little bit like Ice-T a little bit.
I think
was
they
like,
put like generic black man, and then they're like, "Here you go. Here's what you've been listening to this year."
That's
Oh, yeah. All right. Next up, we have Chase.
yeah, so one of my favorite bands of all time, NoFX, final tour was this year. It's not necessarily an album, but just in general, if you look up their final show in Google, and if you care about like 80s, 90s East Bay punk, then you're going to see everybody you ever loved listening to as a kid on that stage, like just singing along to NoFX. They're their their version of The Decline with like just everybody on the stage singing along and playing along to it is one of the best. Like what is that right? Is just best one of the best ever like filmed recordings of The Decline. Like it's also one of like the best songs ever to me. But just the band's done. I didn't get to see them on their farewell tour, but I did get to see them live at some point, so that's nice. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the band just ducking out. They've been around since the '80s. They've done it. They're good. They got fat records and they all got the other stuff going. So I'm glad they did one last farewell tour and it went out well. Like I've probably Googled, not Googled, but YouTubed and watched that last show so many times. It's just such a good thing.
And it's not like he's not making music anymore. It's just
right, yeah.
But I think maybe the pandemic kind of helped push this because I know the drummer started making surfboards, and now he's got,
he has his own
shop.
he has his own shop, and it's booming right now. His surfboard shop.
So,
Justin Fat and Mike also run the museum now, right? The punk rock.
Yeah, as well.
Punk
so
rock
they
museum.
They all started different like little projects, maybe not necessarily music, but other projects in life. And I mean, they're getting older, they're getting gray in the beard, so maybe move on to other things.
Retire.
Yeah, I mean, every show, any live show you see, they bring the energy, So I mean, at this point, let them go.
And who knows? Like any band, and probably in 5 years, 10 years, they'll probably do like the occasional festival show or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a lot of bands do. Cash in every now and then.
Right.
The Op Ivy getting together and playing with the singer from Against Me sounds pretty awesome. If you heard that.
Oh, they did that for the farewell tour?
They were a part of it. I guess they all got together and then just not the singer, it's the singer from Against Me, but it sounded perfect. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. Next up we have Johnny.
All right, yeah, this is the second EP from Tears of Joy. They're a hardcore band just kind of coming up. They're from Elle's neck of the woods. They're from Tacoma, Washington. And they just rip, man. They're like one of the strongest, just most badass hardcore bands that are around right now. I found them by accident, but like I've kept up with them, and I can't wait till they do like a full length project because their 2 EPs have just been sick so far.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been looking out because you got me onto them, and I really like them too. And they don't have a vinyl out yet, and I'm hoping that they'll put the 2 EPs together. And
well, they do have a vinyl. You just don't want to pay shipping for it off of Bandcamp.
Oh, they do have it on Bandcamp.
Yeah, it's $20 plus shipping. So like
for just the EP or the 2 EPs together.
I think just for I think the first EP sold out. I think they still have copies of the second one.
Yeah, I'm not paying $30 US for shipping. Fuck.
Got Fredward agreeing with me.
Yeah,
it's
good.
Fredward.
It's a great pick. That's a good album. Yeah. All right. Up next is me. I'm kind of like Chase. Mine isn't necessarily an album. It was more a show. I went and watched Better Lovers, and whoo, fuck, man. They put on a hell of a show. Great energy. I mean, the sound was great.
Though, right?
They actually have an album out this year. They put out an EP last year, and they put out their first full length this year. So yeah, so you could they're still on tour. So wherever you live, check the listings, and it made me discover an artist. The guitarist in the band is actually an artist as well, who was formerly of Every Time I Die, and that poster he's the one who made their tour poster, which is beautiful. And he did some of the covers for Every Time I Die. Great artist. Jordan Buckley is the name, the guitarist and artist that made that. So I've been getting into his work as an artist. So yeah. So pretty cool. Great show. Great guys put on a fantastic show. I mean, really, really good. So I highly, highly recommend you guys go catch them on tour if they're in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, if you like old school Dillinger, like they're definitely a good listen. That's what the hell it remind me of.
Yeah, the singer from Dillinger. 2 members, I think the drummer and guitarist from Every Time I Die, and the bassist is from shit. I can't remember the name of the band that the bassist is from, but it's kind of like what they call those
Super groups.
super groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
In
uh,
high school, I had a Every Time I Die shirt, and I pretended like I liked them because my brother hung out with like real edgy skaters.
yeah.
And I had a crush on one of them. I was like, yeah, I listened to them all the time, every time.
They're my favorite.
Yeah, I'd love them. Go back and listen to Lady Gaga, Joe's version.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, whatever, Don't knock it, man. There's some bands that you appreciate, but you just wouldn't buy an album or go out of your way to listen to. But when it comes on, you're like, you groove, you get into it,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to love.
You're a little monster. Just say it.
No, but I mean, you don't have to love every band, like every song that you like. You don't have to love the band. You can just appreciate a song for what it is.
There's bands that I straight up don't like, and they still have like 2 or 3 songs that I'll actively look for and listen to just because I like them.
So speaking of which, let's see who made the naughty list.
Uh-oh.
All right, we'll start with Cookie.
This was beyond disappointing. So this is Post Malone F1 Trillion or whatever. All right. I love Post Malone. I take no slander. But so this was like his, tiptoe into country music.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Roadhouse before I listened to the album, and I'm like, oh, he's doing like a bluesy honky tonk kind of country. I'm like, this is gonna be interesting. And it's not. It's like that Blake Shelton pop country crap. And it's just so bad. And I was so disappointed. And so
try
That's
that in
fine.
a
He would be dope if he did like some like Black Snake Moan-esque
yeah.
blues.
That's
not
what I
pop.
wanted.
That would have
Like,
been sick. Yeah.
more bluegrassy kind of deal.
Like
Yeah.
dark South. Yeah. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of what it was with the Roadhouse opening. So I was like, yeah, I'm ready.
And then he came on and said, "I lost my horse."
My girlfriend broke my heart, so I broke her jaw.
I can see where that would be upsetting though, because you think of Post Malone as very talented, and it seems like to sound like cookie cutter country doesn't take much talent. It seems like that's all done in the editing and in the recording booth and everything. I can see where you'd be upset about that.
I was bummed.
I don't have my pen with me. I want to time mark that little bit where broke my heart, so I broke your jaw.
30, look at like 32 minutes around.
Yeah, I see that. 30. I don't remember. I'm too old. I'll fucking forget.
God.
In 5 minutes from now, you'll ask me. I won't remember. So
I got a pen and pencil.
So I'm put the time mark in the chat.
Yeah, that was good. All right, next up on the naughty list is Chase.
Okay, so pretty much exactly where I just left off with my nice list. NoFX knew when to call it. They did their final tour. We're done. Offspring, they should have called it 2 albums ago.
It's just Dexter now, right? Like not even Noodles is in the band anymore, from what I understand. It's only...
I thought Noodles was on this album at least because I saw him touring. I thought, but maybe not. If it is just Dexter now, then crazy. But like I said,
Dexter.
well, this is he was the valedictorian of his high school, and that was his nickname, I guess, and he just stuck with it. But
it was short for Point Dexter, the character from Nerds, is what they kind of looked like him. He had the red hair.
So he was a nerd.
Yeah, so I felt bad because I love Offspring. They're one of my favorite bands. I felt bad putting them on here. So while I was writing down everything for the show today, I listened to the album again, and I completely agree with my placement. Like it's just not good. It's nothing new. Like it just sounds like their last album, which was mostly not good either. It had like a couple good songs on it, but
Christ,
pretty much
the other album came out like what? Like barely a year ago?
Barely a year ago, yeah. But they had a huge break between like Rise and Fall, Raging Grace, and then Days Gone By was like, I would say almost like 8 years or something. And then they put the other ones like back to back, and Days Go By wasn't that good, you know. And then they put out their one after that was Let the Bad Times Roll. Had like, you know, maybe 3 songs that were okay. The rest of them sounded exactly the same. And then this new album just sounds just like the rest of it. Like, it's just not good. It's boring, if anything.
Wow.
I have to agree with you, and this is a little known, well-known fact, is that I love The Offspring, and Rise and Fall is probably the last album I listened to, like, all the way.
I liked Rise and Fall. I thought it was good.
But since then, no, thank you. But have you heard the lo-fi? The lo-fi Americana? I'm obsessed with that this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when they did a thing there where they were just like during the pandemic, especially, there's random releases of things that were pretty cool, and then their albums just not really. Not Let the Bad Times Roll. What was the one before Let the Bad Times? Days Go By has one of my least favorite songs ever on it, "Bumping in My Trunk." I don't know how they thought this was a good idea. Like, it's just terrible song. And
Title's a banger.
they need to let it go.
Cool. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. It would be Johnny, but I think this one's got a little twist to it.
Yeah, this is a good naughty, but like, this is a cyber grind album, so it's just loud, abrasive, and I think a lot of people would find it genuinely annoying, but that's the charm of cyber grind. I absolutely love this album, though. It's very funny. The artist Hot Lettuce, he's very disturbing in a very fun way, and I love the album. It's if you look at the cover, it's very post-apocalyptic, and the music lives up to it. It's I absolutely enjoy it. So yeah, it's good naughty in my opinion.
I mean,
What?
with a name like Hot Lettuce, I mean,
Well, he named himself that because nobody likes hot lettuce. It's something that's just
yeah. I mean,
disgusting. You know?
You said, let me set the mood. Let me put on some Hot Lettuce.
Exactly.
And then it's just banging.
I think that pretty much rounds out our music category. So got some good racks.
If I was to put that on for a lady friend, like, she'd think I was the killer guy from 8mm. Like, that's
Oh my god.
Well,
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that movie too. That was a good movie. All right, next category that we're gonna hit on is shows. So we'll kick it off with Cookies first again.
Interview with the Vampire, Part 2, Season 2. It's fantastic. If you're familiar with the source material at all, this season was all the Paris stuff. And it was spectacular. Everybody did an amazing job. And what I like about this show in particular is, even if you are familiar with the books or the movie or any of the source material, they still find ways to twist it to keep it interesting. So I can't wait for season 3. I'm excited.
I kind of watched this mainly because you loved it so much. And I've got to say, the first season was pretty good. And it took me a while to get into the second season because of the change up with the actress who played the girl,
Claudia,
the little girl, Claudia. Yeah. So it took me kind of half a season to kind of get into the second season. So, but I mean, if you love that kind of stuff, the very melodramatic vampire love story triangle, whatever you want to call
it. Very melodramatic.
Yeah, yes. You'll dig it for sure. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I have not been able to finish season 1 because I swear every time I put it on, one of my kids come in the room. It doesn't matter what time of day. one of my kids will find their way into my room, and I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily trying to see them having seen, floating butt cheeks.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Again,
Sexy
with the
floating butt
incredibly
cheeks.
horny vampire story. Because
Always.
I'm like, every time you come in here, it's cheeks on the screen. Like, go away.
All right. Next up, we have Chase.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna make this pretty short. Arcane, season 2 was crazy good. The only reason I watched it was because Joe said something on Twitter or Blue Sky or something about it, and I was like, I'll just check this out because I wasn't doing anything right then. And they have an episode on this channel all about it, so go watch that. But I don't want to say anything else about it because you guys have talked about it so much. But it was just a really good show.
Yeah, I was gonna choose this as one of my shows, and I saw you had it, so I was like, oh, I'll be able to.
Yeah, the animate. So say whatever you're going to say now. The animation, like some of the music choices are, okay, whatever. But it definitely sets a mood. The music does, and it was just really, really good, emotional.
Yeah.
Like when that girl, like that into that episode when she took out the big monster guy, and I never played League of Legends, so I didn't know any of these people. Like it was just very good.
Yeah. We're all right there with you. Yeah, pretty much. I never played the game, but the show is just magnificent.
Yeah, for a cartoon to be able to make me cry, you've done something pretty phenomenal with
and
animation.
I'll agree. Like there are better needle drops on this season than the first one. Like the first one, I remember they just kind of played the Imagine Dragon song again in one episode. Whereas
the whole song, like made a music video.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question about Arcane. I game, but I don't play League of Legends. I watch that kind of stuff, but I didn't watch Arcane. However, on TikTok, there's a big trend about something called an Arcane Hex Strap. What's that?
Hex Strap.
Hex Strap.
Well, the hex is like the magical stuff that like Victor and Jace create, but like I don't know, probably they made something dirty out of it.
Yes,
but, like,
I thought it was in the game.
I thought maybe it was like the strap that what's her name had on her arm that like the
That
hex.
is so wholesome of you, Chase.
Oh,
there's people on TikTok that are making like strap holders with, I guess, like a hex strap. That's what they're calling it, and they have little jewels on it.
Hilarious!
And I
Well,
thought
if
it was like, I thought it was in the show because it kept saying #Arcane, #Hex Strap, and I said, "Is that it? Maybe I should. Is that like a weapon?
Maybe I should watch the show."
That's hilarious. I mean that like people are so crafty. People are so.
They're like welding, literally learning how to weld in order to.
Oh my god!
Kids have never been so attentive in shop class.
Shop class, right? Because this one lady, she was like even putting like wires in it. She's like, "Well, I'm trying to get it to be." I said, "Excuse me, this is a much for me too. Because what if it shorts?"
Cool. Yeah, Arcane's great. I'll definitely back that choice for sure. All right, next up we have Elle's choice.
So Earth Abides is based on a book, but it's basically like the end of the world and how people rebuild after it. If the Earth is like responsible for pushing people out, basically. And it's really good. It's really slow paced, but it also, by episode 5, they've covered like 20-ish years of post apocalypse, if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Phil? That looks like Phil.
No, it's what's his name from the Hunger Games, and he was, I think, I am number 4.
Oh
yes,
I
know who he
name.
is. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Alexander or something. Alexander.
Yeah.
But I feel like his career could have went one of two ways, and I'm glad he went like the adult show route versus like I'm gonna keep trying to be the young jock,
the teen throb.
Yeah,
the teen heartthrob.
And it's a real slow burn, but it's so good. And it started on December 1st, but it's already on about to be episode 6. But I don't know if there's more episodes beyond that. But it is on MGM Plus. But it's excellent. I really enjoy it.
I never even heard of this show before until you sent me your pics, and I was like, oh.
It's really. I know I've seen some people complain about oh, that's unrealistic. Why would so and so end up with so and so? And it's like if you're the only two people left, naturally
That's how that
the
works.
coupling,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. But
And it takes place over like 20. Well, I don't know how far it's gonna go in the next episode, but so far it's like 20 years. And what I like about it is usually in like these dystopian shows and movies, they're gonna find quick ways to kill everybody off or to
Yeah.
make it really dramatic.
Mhm.
But in so far, like it took like over a decade for something dramatic. It's just like slow life. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna
Mhm.
survive?
What's it on,
And
Al?
MGM Plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it on Shudder also?
I'm not sure, but I know you can get like a free trial of
Mm.
Oh,
MGM
maybe
Plus
that's where I'm seeing it. Okay.
or Prime because I know I haven't. I have MGM through Prime, but only because they were like, "Hey, you want it for $1.75 Black Friday?" I said,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll take it."
I know I'm waiting for that deal so I can catch up to From.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly why initially.
I'm waiting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. That sounds. Maybe I'll check it out. I think I can get another free subscription to MGM. I think it's been long enough.
Yeah, that's exactly because this is like my fourth. And every time I say I'm gonna get caught up on From, I
Yeah.
haven't yet. I'm still on season 1.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Next up, we have Johnny.
Yeah, this is another one we already did a whole episode on. I just really enjoyed it, man. I thought the actors were great. I thought the story was very Vertigo. I thought it translated over from the comic books particularly well. I even kind of the shaky CGI effects I thought were charming and felt within the realm of the series. So yeah, dude, like I'm so bummed out that we're only getting one season, but I'm happy that they resolved the storyline. Like you kind of only have one dangling Chad from the from this season, like what happens with Nico, but like that's not going to get resolved. But I'm happy that they didn't do what HBO Max did and like just leave you hanging with plot lines and shit, and just
Yeah.
cancel shows. So at least with Dead Boy Detectives, you get like a full season with a full storyline and a resolution. So
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, we have an episode on that too from a while back. But you gotta come on. That's a great show poster, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Fantastic. I'd hang that on my wall.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure. I love the comic books. The comics were great, and I
Mhm.
still haven't
Yeah.
seen that though.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm in
Yeah,
the
they
same
got-
boat. I love the comic. I haven't watched it yet because once I heard it was canceled, I said I got time now.
Yeah.
right. Same.
But yeah, it's fun. It's definitely like young adult ish, but on let's say a older young adult. So
Yeah, it looked super fun.
it was. Yeah, great performances. The actors all around. Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it as well. All right, next up we have myself. All right. This wasn't going to make the list until like I saw that Chase took Arcane. So I was like, all right, I'll fit Creature Commandos in here. This is a fresh show that just started this December, I believe, right?
Yeah, 4 episodes, man.
Four
And this last one actually got me teared up, man. Like I was feeling so bad for the Weasel, dude. Like that was tragic.
Yeah. So far, it's off to a great start. Episode 3 was brutal as hell.
Yeah.
I've never seen bodies being dismembered by heavy artillery so well done as episode 3 of this show. It's insanely well done. So yeah, go check it out. It has a little bit of everything. It has like a cuck episode like angle in the first episode. It's horny as hell, that first episode. The second episode, what was the story? I mean, it's definitely for adults. Don't go in here thinking, like, I'd say make sure your kid's
The second
16.
The
to
second
watch
episode
this,
is when the
like-
fish girl follows the bride to the castle.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is definitely not for children. This cartoon, like, if your kid's 13, make sure they can handle mature subject matter content and visuals, because for an animation, this one goes pretty hard. So
Yeah, it's more brutal than the Peacemaker was, and that was live action.
yeah. So yeah.
I saw a lot of people slagging it on Twitter, saying it was horrible. So I was like, well, I gotta see how bad it is. And I
That's
watched it, and
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good.
Probably
That's
Snyder
like a bad
Bros.
Rotten Tomato score.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody was trying to compare it to Invincible, which it's not. I mean,
Mm.
It's
two
better.
different things.
Yeah, Invincible maybe like animated slightly better, but like the story's not there in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with Invincible. It's fine. But I mean, Creature Commandos is definitely way more entertaining for myself personally than Invincible. So I mean,
Right.
but teach their own. I'm not saying
I like 'em
Invincible is
both.
bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't have to hate one to love the other. And I think a lot of people
Right.
kind of lose sight of that, like where they draw these lines in the sand and like if I
Mhm.
love
True.
this, you can't love that, like
It's the kind of weird world we live in right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
exactly.
Well,
You
Which
can only like one cartoon. You
Which-
can't like the others.
Just one.
well, I have a feeling we're going to get into some weird with this next one. I had to find a category to fit this. So the next pick is by Dean. So he gave me this, and I was like, "It's a news story." So I was like, "Let's fit it into TV. It fits
I
into
know-
media. I had to
I
find a
know
place
exactly
to
what
fit it."
this is.
Yeah, so
This
we'll
is-
let Dean. We'll
Al,
let
did
Dean
I
get
tell
into
you about
it.
this before?
Huh?
Did I tell you about this before?
No, but I know what it is.
Oh man, this is crazy. So I know this man, right? His name was
Of
TJ.
course you do.
I know this man. His name's TJ Green, right? So I used to sell paint, and he worked as a Star Trek tour guide, and that was one of my accounts. And I'd have to go and see him. And he was also an Elvis impersonator. He also worked as a like a mascot at the local Six Flags, right? So he tells his wife that he's going to go move furniture one night, and all of a sudden he's found dead the next day, and he was killed in a homoerotic breath play bondage session by a local chiropractor. So this dude, he made chloroform himself, and this was their freak. Like, this is what they would do. Our local Elvis impersonator was killed in a bondage session, and it's like it touches
That's
all
very
nerddom
tragic.
locally. I'm fascinated by it. I can't stop watching. I'm going to start going to the court cases. I'm so into it.
So we should do. We should have Dean come on once a week and give us Dean's weekly report
Yeah.
on
Yes.
The new update is that he found
Weekly
out how to
Dean
make the
news.
chloroform on the internet. Now I
Mm.
assumed that it was going to be poppers, but it wasn't
Mm.
poppers. It was chloroform. Which so what's the first thing I do? I Google it.
Mhm.
How come gay guys use chloroform during
Mhm.
sex? Do not ever Google that. It
Mhm.
was horrific. It was horrific. And it's like I don't know. I was shocked. I was shocked.
I certainly hope you were Googling this like hidden.
With a VPN.
Incognito
Yes.
mode. of the VPN.
I don't know how to do any of that. I was probably at CVS on my iPhone.
This could be a plot line on American Horror Story, man. Straight up.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. And
Yeah.
and to be like, oh baby, no, I'm going to pick up a box spring. This guy told me
Going to
if
get
I
some
helped him move
furniture.
furniture that he'd give me a free box spring. And then you
Mm.
find out this is what he was doing. And it was an ongoing thing because they met at Walmart. They
He was
worked at a
testing out the box
Walmart.
spring.
Yeah,
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I want to know like the schematics of what the position was. Also, he tried to hide the body, but he was so old he couldn't move it.
Mhm.
So when the cops got there, they were like, "How come you moved the body over here?" And he was like, "Trying to get rid of it. Couldn't put it up the stairs." And they were like, "Okay."
There's a comic that kind of touches on like that kind of play in a in gay relationship, well, man and man relationships, Party and Pray. Do you guys remember that? It was Aftershock, Steve Fox, Steve Orlando. It was like
I
a
never.
one shot.
Yeah, I never read that. Yeah.
It was really good. It was like a
Mhm.
serial killer at the club trying to find, and then he gets back to his house and it's like a whole labyrinth. But it
Yeah.
touches on like like it is like the common use of that in some club scenes.
If you think about this, though, it's not as horrific as it could be a possible love story. Like it
Mhm.
could be that their love was so
Yeah.
forbidden that it ended
And
in death.
secret, yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah.
This is it's tragic. It really
It
is.
is. Like
Yeah.
like
Their
pauper
love burned too
crossed
bright.
lovers.
Their love burned too bright.
It's touching like the German guy that ate the other guy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wild.
So anyway, Dean had too many comic picks. I was gonna put this under the dealer's choice, but to be able to fit his third comic pick, I had to put that as a dealer's choice. I figured this probably made it onto the news, or eventually they'll probably make.
It made it onto someone's TV.
It'll
yeah.
probably make some kind of documentary or made for TV movies. So
Oh,
I
it's
figured
This was his
Definitely.
creator of the year.
Yeah,
It spiked the ratings of that news channel that night. You know?
yeah, exactly. So I put it under this category. I mean,
Thanks
All
for
right.
squeezing me in.
Next up we have Johnny has a naughty pick.
Yeah, I this is because I couldn't pick between this and Dead Boy Detective, so like I really wanted to talk about Fallout, and because of the gore and the horniness of the show, like it kind of fits as naughty. Like there's that really good part at the beginning where the guy wipes his knob on her curtain, and that's enough to make it naughty in my opinion. That's just disrespectful and so gross. So I absolutely love this show. Like it was like hard to pick between these two shows, so
Yeah.
I decided I didn't want to, and I made this one naughty, even though it's not really that naughty, but it is gory as hell and horny, so it somewhat fits.
Johnny,
Yeah.
chill, because I let my daughter watch this. She's 13, and I told her there's some stuff in here you might not understand. Mind you, I totally forgot about the jerking off scene in the barracks. I totally forgot about that. And I was like, look, there's a scene in the beginning that happens, and this is what happens, but it's important for you to see it to understand why things are so dire. Like that scene with her and the man, I feel like is important to understand how necessary it was for her to get out, Lucy. And so I was like, just so you have some like frame of reference for it. And then like a couple days later, she goes, so you didn't tell me about it. I said, listen, if you want me to continue to let you watch,
Yeah, exactly. Just
relax. Don't tell your daddy, because I totally forgot about that.
yeah. I love that show too. So I mean, I think we covered all my favorite with all the different picks we've got. I think we covered almost all my favorite shows of the year. So yeah. So next up is Cookie and Elle have the same naughty pick.
Yes, Elle.
It might be for different reasons, Cookie.
Oh no. Well, my reason. This was wildly disappointing, and I get the ick with Colin anytime he's on screen. He's a mouth breather. I get the ick. So
I agree. I hated this season. This was unnecessary for me. The Bridgerton, the flashback season was like 100 times better than this, and I don't understand why you would follow that up with this. It was trash. I don't like Penelope as a character. Did not need to see any of them doing nothing sexual together.
Yeah.
Especially Colin. He's again. It just wasn't my favorite season. It felt like rushed. It didn't feel, I don't know. I didn't like it. It was trash.
Okay. I know you guys watch this show, so I was really curious to know if this was naughty as in naughty, because I know there's a lot of sex in
it should have been naughty.
So I was very curious to see if this was going to be a good naughty or a bad naughty.
No,
you know, in a smut, you might read somebody like there's a scene where he like wipes his fingers after touching her and on her dress, but when he did it, I was like, have you heard? There's no dry cleaning. This is like the 1800s. Like, relax. Like, that's disgusting. You probably just gave her something, tetanus or something.
That's what you thought of?
Yeah, because he's so unsexy. Yes, he's so unattractive to me that it turned me off. I was like, ew.
Wait. If he was more attractive and he pulled it out and then did the wipe on the dress, would you be like, yeah, that's all right?
If he was believable as like that guy, I would have been like, okay, like Idris Elba or something. I would have been like, wipe it on my neck. I don't care.
I will spot clean in the morning. It's worth it.
But when he did that, it looked icky because he held his fingers out too. When he
And
touched her,
did
he
the
like held it
whole-
out like he was disgusted. And I was
Did he
like,
do
"What's
it
she
like
smelling,
E.T.?
Colin?" It
I
was bad.
can't.
It was
I
so
can't.
bad.
No,
I
I mean
got it.
it was nice seeing a voluptuous woman be nude on a
Mhm.
show like for the first
Yeah.
time. So it's like, oh, great. But
Cool. But also, you're gonna sleep with him.
right, it was so wasted. It was so wasted.
Mm-mm. So
That
many
guy,
other dukes.
that guy on the poster, is that the dude that plays Luca on the bear?
No.
Well, it kind
No.
of looked like him. It kind of looked like Adam Warlock.
Yeah, he's like dollar store Adam Warlock.
Mm.
Kind of.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
50-cent store.
Yeah.
All right.
Dime store.
All right. Our last
Thrift
pick.
store.
Our last pick for show naughty is Chases.
All right. Yeah. So, little thing about me, we have a business from home and I'm a stay-at-home dad. So like all I do is clean the house and do dishes and do laundry and box for our business and pack things up and restock shelves. So during this time, I usually have headphones on. I'm either listening to a podcast or listening to a docuseries of some kind, just something I don't have to like look and pay attention to. And I'm not a huge wrestling fan. I was when I was younger, when I was a kid. And but it was just another docuseries I could watch. And it pretty much to me was like they kept putting a disclaimer at the beginning of every episode that was like, this was filmed before the allegations
Mhm.
came out about Mr. McMahon. And like, so it seemed like it was filmed like they knew the allegations was coming, and this is like a fluff piece. Like it just I
Yeah,
didn't
it
like
did feel like
I felt
that.
like I was trying to be convinced that he's a hard guy. He's a harsh businessman, but he's not a bad person. He has a heart. Like
But
I
he's
felt like I
good
was
deep down. Yeah.
right, and I just didn't.
Especially with the
I
Shane
didn't like that.
episode.
You
With
know,
the
it wasn't.
family
I was like,
episode,
yeah,
they
this is
really, yeah.
yeah.
With that
Anybody
episode,
else
they
watch
really
it? Did you
tried to
watch it,
sell
Al?
it. Oh, absolutely. I love a good documentary, and I was like obsessed with wrestling when I was like a little kid, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
when I watched it, I was like, this is baloney because like, and then once I saw like, oh yeah, the deal with Netflix and all the shows that are coming with
Yeah.
WWE coming in the new year, I was like, we were never supposed to look at him like a bad guy, especially with
Right.
like the backstory and his childhood. I said, they were like, oh, he grew up in poverty. I was like, until he was 11, and then he met his very wealthy father.
Right.
Get out
And
of
then
here.
he
That's like
screwed him
my
over the
orphan
first
dream.
chance he got.
Right. It was silly,
was-
and I hated it. My brothers,
Yeah.
I watched wrestling with my brothers, and they hit me up, and they were like, "I cried a little during the Shane scene," and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I wrote down on my list here. I said, "Feel bad for Shane O'Mac." You know,
Yeah, that's what my brothers texted me.
he just wanted to make his father happy, and he was like, that one scene where he's like, after he like almost kills himself doing like the biggest
Yeah.
fault anybody's ever done, his father told him he was proud of him and hugged him. He's like, he starts crying just thinking about it. He's like, it's the best day that ever happened. I was like, oh, this poor guy.
My
Like,
favorite wrestling story is when I was a kid when Jacqueline lost the women's championship title to Stephanie McMahon. I was so upset that like my dad let me stay home from school the next day because I was gutted.
mourning.
I was like, she doesn't even wrestle.
yeah, it's not even believable. Jacqueline could beat some of the guys on the card.
Right.
Mhm.
And so
That's the best.
but it was well constructed, the documentary, but it was I don't feel like it was unbiased.
No.
Right. I think it was just, I thought it was a fluff piece, just trying to make you feel for him a little bit. No, I didn't. Yeah, I don't like being manipulated. I don't care if people have an agenda, but this was like, I felt like it was really forcing to you that
Yeah.
you should like him.
Mm.
Yeah.
I started watching it, but when it got to the part where he pulled his fingers from ravishing Rick Rude's and wiped them on the front of him, I turned
Yeah.
it off.
You said you went off?
I turned it off.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
That's disgusting.
L.
I didn't hear. I'm sorry. You said bring the eggnog. You said bring the eggnog. My apologies.
Watching it, I
All
feel
right.
bad for Stephanie too, you know. It's
Oh,
all.
that's where I draw the line, Chase.
All right.
She,
So,
you know, yeah, it could have been a great childhood.
yeah.
No, you're right.
right.
Mm.
All right. So we'll move on to our next category. That sums up our shows. We'll get into the movies. First up, once again, is Cookie.
Long live long legs.
Sing it.
Let me in now. It could be nice. But yes, I know y'all hate it, but
No, none of us hate it.
No, I know.
Just the hype, I think, was way blown out of
Yeah.
proportion.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. But this was a wild thriller, and I felt completely uneasy the entire time I watched it, and I enjoyed the supernatural twist of it.
Mhm.
And yeah, and this is Nick Cage at his finest. I
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
Hail
Yeah.
Satan.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not my best. Definitely far from the worst movie that was released last year. So I mean, it falls somewhere in the upper echelon, I'd say. Yeah, it's worth watching. I mean, if you enjoy Nick Cage, I mean, definitely go watch this movie. And like Johnny said it best. Like they set the mood, the aesthetic of the movie is perfect. It's
It's
just
claustrophobic. It drowns
yeah,
you.
it's
Yeah.
exactly. It's just maybe a few little small missteps, or I don't know. But it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, just it didn't live up to the hype that everyone was raging.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
this is gonna win best movie of the year. It's the best movie ever made. I mean, I was like,
Well, and
whoa,
all the early
whoa, whoa.
reviews were like, "This is the scariest movie ever made," and it's not. It's not even close.
The
Yeah.
marketing campaign, spot on. Those fan
Yes.
footage videos
Yeah.
with
Oh, yeah.
with
Yes.
the families, fantastic.
All the
Yes.
But, yeah.
posters
And
too.
the phone number you call, and it's
Oh, I
just
said
him
that
having
to everybody.
breathing.
I said, "Hey, I changed my
Yeah,
phone
that
number."
phone number was great.
I told that to
Yeah.
all of my brothers.
Yeah.
Can you call me? I lost my phone.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a worthy candidate for sure for the nice list. All right.
Yeah.
So we did do an episode on Longlegs and Arcadia
Arcadian.
for our
Yeah.
Arcadian for our Cage Love segment of the show.
For spooky season.
Yeah, it was a spooky
Yeah.
season episode. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So,
There's a sequel confirmed. Yeah,
for Longlegs.
yeah.
Is it?
Short hands.
Oh, stop. Stop it. I walked into that.
I walked into that one
Walked right
completely
into it.
blind. Fucking ran right into the wall. Didn't even slow down. Fuck.
You wanted to see it so bad. He said, "Let me out now."
All right. Next up, we got Chase's choice, which is a lot more wholesome than
It
Cookies.
is.
Okay.
Oh, good choice.
Now, essentially, all I do is watch kids' movies. Like I said, I'm a stay-at-home dad. And this is the only movie I saw in theaters this year. So I thought, let's just pick it. It was a good movie. There were a
Okay,
lot of
works.
people crying in the theater.
Yeah.
It was very,
great
like you said,
time.
wholesome. And my kids really loved it. My smallest one, he's the one who just turned 6, loves it. He talks about it all the time. Still, just keep watching it. I've probably seen it a total like 3 or 4 times now, and it was good.
Mhm.
Very enjoyable.
I mean, you could have gone to see worse movies at the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't even watched Wolverine Deadpool yet, or Deadpool Wolverine yet.
Go ahead and
Oh
skip
no. Well, you're going to be in for a surprise later. I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
All right.
boy.
All right. Next up, we have Elle.
Oh, blink twice. Zoe Kravitz deserves
Mhm.
all the praise for
Mhm.
this. This was so good, so fun. I mean, it's not anything you've never seen before. It is
Nope.
like playing into that classic the most dangerous game trope.
Mhm.
But the twist on it I felt was like refreshing
Mhm.
as a woman at least. And so just like it was really good, really well done. It was like something I could watch without playing Monopoly Go on my phone. So to me, that's 2 thumbs.
And it was good seeing Channing Tatum as a bad guy. Like,
Oh,
don't
I
think we've done
loved
that yet.
him as the
And he was very believable. I thought he did a
Very.
really good job. Yeah.
very good job. All the men in the
Mhm.
movie, honestly,
Yeah.
even
True.
Haley Joel Osment. I said, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
He
You're
sees
too
dead people.
wholesome for this."
I enjoyed this movie a lot. Like I said, the mood starts off like what's that movie I don't like? Midsummer vibe.
Oh.
Then it turns into like Ready or
Jojo.
Not Right?
Start with me, boy. You know that's my favorite movie of all time. My favorite depressing movie.
Yeah, then it just, like you say, the twist, and it just turns it.
Yeah.
But they do it so well. It becomes a whole
Yeah.
nother thing, but it doesn't feel jarring. It feels like natural.
Yeah.
It's great the way they did it. Like you said, hats off. Great job. It's like two separate movies that just fit together perfectly. I really enjoyed it. I was very, very pleasantly surprised by this. But I went in almost completely blind, which usually makes me enjoy
Same.
a movie
I didn't
so
know the
much.
plot. I just knew
Yeah.
Zoe, and I was in. I love Zoe Kravitz, so I was like, okay, I'm in. If it's her first foray, into directing and stuff, I was like, and the fact that I knew that there was something off about Channing in the one trailer I saw, I said, oh, he's a creep. I'm gonna watch this.
Are they
This is
still
gonna be
together?
great.
No, I heard they broke up.
I heard they broke up too, probably because of this movie. This is one thing about movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Movies
Well, they're
make
doing
couples
a movie together,
and they break up couples, right?
they're about to film a movie together with what's his name? I forgot who, but they have a movie coming out.
They probably already had too much financially invested before the breakup.
Yeah, there's contracts. Yeah,
yeah,
for
exactly. But great pick. I enjoyed the movie, and yeah, for sure. All right, next up we have Hellboy. All right, Johnny and I both picked this. Yeah, go ahead, Johnny. I'll let you speak on it first.
It exceeded expectations. I thought it was going to be pretty good, but it was probably one of the better adaptations I've ever seen of a comic book. And the fact that they made it for like $5 made it super impressive. A couple of the CG effects weren't all the way there, but I love what they did with the ending, because they put so much content in with the fight with the Crooked Man. Because in the comic, they kind of just show up and beat him. But the movie, he puts up a fight. It's kind of like a really good third act that I didn't expect coming. I thought that we were just going to get the really good fight at the cemetery, at the church and shit, but like that. So it just delivered all the way, in my opinion. Jack Kesey, my second favorite Hellboy. He comes in very close behind Perlman, in my opinion. And I love the look. I know a lot of people said that he looked cheap. I still think he looked better than the David Harbour.
But you know what? I find screenshots or test screenings, of costumes always look kind of cheesy and bad. And it never looks the same once it's live action, because you have the proper lighting and everything. And it really makes the costume look different once it's under proper lighting, where they're filming and moving. It's a still shot. So you get the nitpick on all the little flaws, because on screen, that specific shot, you probably only see for like 30 seconds at a time. You don't have time to nitpick all the little flaws and intricacies of the costume, because it's like flash shots and stuff. And he looks fine on screen. I mean, I could see people's criticisms if they just looked at the pictures online of the costume. It does look too clean. It almost looks like it came straight from wardrobe of someone stitching it together, and it looks too pristine. But on screen with the proper lighting and everything, it looked great. And I'll go one better, Johnny. It's on par with Ron Perlman, or even maybe I liked him a little bit better. I don't know. I was impressed. I was impressed with him as Hellboy. Really, very, very, very pleasantly surprised with his performance as Hellboy. Basically, like I said, we recorded an episode on this. Like I told Johnny, he made me think of him doing his best.
Mickey Rourke.
He played Hellboy like Mickey Rourke, but old Mickey Rourke, not young Mickey Rourke. So yeah,
pretty much like Mickey Rourke in Sin City. He was a lot like Marv.
Marv vibes. If you dig Marv as a character, that's definitely Hellboy gave off those similar vibes. Yeah. So, and like you said, the CG was cheesy for some scenes, but not unlike Dead Boy Detectives. It just adds to the charm. And they didn't rely too heavily on the CG. It was very limited, short scenes. And they relied on a lot of practical effects, which was great. So,
well, I mean, some of it looked great though. Like when the snake was coiling around the girl and stuff, it looked good. But then when he fought it, it did look a little. But I actually liked the spider fight at the beginning. A lot of people, But I mean, he's fighting a fucking giant spider. It's gonna look goofy,
Yeah. But I mean, highly recommend. Yeah, and I mean, it's just refreshing to have a movie that stands on its own. That's not part of some extended universe. And I don't know. It was just refreshing that we got a good movie that just stands on its own, right? That you don't have to,
Yeah, and it's proof that you could do these things on a small budget. I'm pretty sure that this will get Todd McFarlane's cheap Spawn movie actually made now, and maybe hopefully like a BPRD series in the works, because I could see them using like the same effects for that they did for this, for a show on Netflix or something like that. Since I think
And
they still have a deal with Dark Horse, I believe.
and I mean Brian Taylor, I enjoy him as a director. He did the Crank movies. He worked on Happy. He worked on what else has he worked on?
Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, great. I love that movie too. The Ghost Rider. Like I love the look. Anyway, he's worked on so many movies I've enjoyed, and he did a great job with this one as well. So
Pow.
yeah.
I say something
All
I like about the guy you just said, director. He was doing an interview once. And they asked if he was going to do a Crank 3, and he said he would like to wait like 15 years after Crank 2, and then do like a Crank 25 and act like that many cranks had happened, and like he's just basically a robot at that point. I was like, that would be great. Like
That's
that would be.
That's the type of like mentality I like to hear, like just that far out, like just craziness.
Right.
Like, yeah. That's cool. That'd be awesome if that did happen. All right, let's get into the naughty lists of the movies. All right, first up we have Johnny's naughty.
Yeah, this is another good naughty. This movie is just very blasphemous, very gory, just a really good. It's post rapture, and like basically there's no dialogue. They get their vocal cords cut when they were kids to try to make up during the tribulations, and it's just Samara Weaving surviving in this post rapture hellscape where like there's this religious cult trying to make it up to God, but like they're actually working with these kind of crazy like demon zombies that follow blood. It's brutal, man. It's a really, really just badass movie. I highly recommend checking out Azrael, Angel of Death. I'd never heard of it. I just saw that Samara was in it, and she's just fucking badass and everything. So
Yeah,
checked it out, and she did not disappoint, man. Like this is probably her at her most hardcore.
Yeah. Pat put it on one time when I was doing other stuff, and I was able to catch parts of it, and it seemed pretty good. Like I'll have to sit down and watch it proper, but yeah, I got to see the beginning, and it was decent.
It's a weird watch because, like I said, there's no dialogue in it. Like nobody really. There is one guy that she meets, and like, but he kind of just babbles. Like he doesn't actually make any sense when he speaks. So, like, it's a different kind of watch. But I really enjoyed it for a movie that I'd never heard of. That was also made for like I'm not sure, pretty cheap. It didn't look like, but like the gore effects are there, man. It's like dog soldiers, like super gory, man. Like. So like I really appreciated it, and probably one of my favorite horror movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Cool. All right, next up, naughty. I got 2 picks for this one. L through 2 at me, so I put them
the
both.
top one. Can one of you?
The American Society of Magical Negroes. Yeah.
Cancel.
No, I'm just kidding.
And clip.
Oh my gosh,
There
was
you
that
go.
a bad movie? And I blame Justice Smith. Stop casting Justice Smith.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan, eh?
He's apathetic. He does not come across as wanting to be there in anything he's in.
Yeah.
And I think there's times where it lends to the story and times where it doesn't. And in this one, I was like, you just want a white girlfriend. That's fine. Just go be free. Go. And like it was silly. It was, I don't know. It was not good. I feel like the magical aspects of it, like when they were showing the society, were really cool.
Yeah.
But anything outside of that, Justice, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. And it sucks too because it'll tie in later. A podcast I listened to.
Yeah.
Tim Baltz was in American Society, and I was like, I wish you had done something else. I wish you had been in something else. And then it ends with us. I don't really feel like I need to explain. It was awful. Colleen Hoover needs to stop writing books.
Stop writing books.
Stop writing books. However, they did announce the cast of Verity, and it sounds amazing. So, but it's also a trash book. But it ends with us. I can't. Can't do it. Can't get into the even like the salaciousness that's going on behind the scenes. I don't care. I don't care.
Well, I haven't seen either one of these, and I've heard a lot of bad things about the first one. So
I watched the first one because it had David Alan Grier in it, and I've been a fan of his.
I loved that. And even if it was just about him at the society, fine. But the main storyline just wasn't it. And then I'm supposed to believe that he's knitting this sweater and it's supposed to look like that by the end of the movie. I said no way.
So anyway, I've heard Like Elle was going on about it. My cousin said he didn't like it, so I was like, all right, maybe if it's
It got panned a lot because I think people were trying to say that it wasn't about him being with a white girl. That's not what the story was about.
no.
But what the story was actually about was even worse, and I would have preferred it be a loving situation,
Yeah.
not what it was, because I said this is actually ridiculous and I don't like it.
There you
But
go.
I do like, again, I do feel like the history of the society, and like when they were at the society, that stuff was cool. It was really interesting how they reinterpreted history. That was cool. But the
So if they
actual
would have gone
storyline,
from a different angle, it probably could
yeah,
have
if
been
it
a
was
lot better.
just about the society and like
And
how
Yeah.
it came to be and what they were
Yeah.
doing, that the
Mhm.
workings of it, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, a la Harry
More-
Potter, like just the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah,
that
just
would've been
about the
cool.
lore. Like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't need to follow this confused boy trying to be
Yeah.
a man,
Yeah.
find his way through life. No, thank you. I'm
Mhm.
tired.
Yeah, got you. Pikachu.
Yeah. I actually like Detective Pikachu. I felt like his apatheticness lended to that character.
There you go. One movie you did like with him. There you go.
Yeah.
Was
no,
he in
only-
Dungeons and Dragons as well?
Yes.
Was he?
Okay,
Yeah.
thought so.
Okay.
Mhm.
He was actually good in that too.
I like Dungeons and Dragons. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I
That
liked
was
it.
all right.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah,
it.
I didn't. Yeah,
It was
it had
fun.
its moments. Mhm,
That
definitely.
cat dragon killed me, man. It reminded me of my cat Mibu.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. Naughty, and not for the good reasons. This movie pretty much embodies everything I hate about Marvel movies now. I think I've just gone through fucking extended universe, multiverse burnout, and this movie just embodies every fucking thing I hate about it. There was only one good cameo that was kind of clever and funny. The rest were just fucking thrown in there, weren't even cool. I mean, their interpretation of Gambit was god awful. Making dick jokes about shooting out of his dad's dick into his mom's cooch. I mean,
Oh God.
Is
I
that
mean-
not how reproduction works? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, it does. But you know,
No, I hated this movie. I haven't gotten past the middle of it. I have not seen past like a
it
certain
was
point.
long. Both Pat and I kind of dozed off 3/4 of the way through. That you could have edited an hour out of this movie, and it might have been a good movie. But yeah, multiverse and all that crap. Come on, it's too much.
I had the same feeling as I did for like Ready Player One. I was like, "Hey, look, it's the thing." I liked that, and then I just
Yeah.
like the movie kept going, and I'm like, "But this sucks. Where did that cool thing go? Why
Yeah,
didn't
it's-
that stick
Yeah.
Like, there's no real purpose for the movie, the plot, or anything.
For me, it was more Ryan Reynolds fatigue. I'm
Mhm.
just, he does his thing, the same thing in everything he's in, and I was just like, I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Like, don't get me wrong, but he's just too old now. You can't have him running around doing action scenes. He just can't do it anymore. Like, he's slow and you see him laboring. I mean,
Well,
That's
Plus,
my
they just-
Wolverine. No, I'm just
Plus,
kidding.
they just hired the
my
little
old
girl-
man Logan.
They just hired the
Mhm.
little girl that plays Max from Stranger Things to be the new Jean Grey. Like the love triangle between her, Cyclops, and Wolverine is going to be awkward.
I will say there
Aw.
was like that scene where they did like all the iterations of Wolverine, and when they
Mhm.
did little guy Wolverine,
Yeah.
please tell, I screamed. I said, "Okay, I'm done watching. This is all I
Oh,
needed to see."
I mean, it's not complete garbage. It's
Yeah.
just there's,
But
like
for
I
me,
said,
it
there's
wasn't you're right. It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't. There was no real storyline. It was just like, oh, watch what we could do with the money we've amassed from the previous
exactly,
films.
and just
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was stupid and dumbed down, and I also loved Ready Player One.
Oh, I love
That's one of my favorites. I love that.
Yeah. And
I
the
liked
look,
Ready Player
too.
One too. It was nothing like the book at all.
Oh, no,
but
no.
I liked it. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I thought it
And
was
please
fun.
know, any piece of Ready Player One merch for women, I own. I was disgusting when it came out. I have the dresses, I have the crop tops, I have the sweaters.
It's a great flick.
But you know, like Deadpool, what it needs is a straight man, and everybody became a Joker in this. Like slapsticky one-liners. Like, I mean, Wolverine was kind of the straight man in this, but
Until the
still.
car scene, right?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Don't even get me started with the car scene. Like, how many times are you two going to fight for a half an hour straight? It's like,
There was a lot of butthole stabbing. I will say that. That got
yeah. It got
All right,
old
maybe I should
fast.
watch it now.
It got old real fast. So anyway, it's not a horrible movie. I really wish I hadn't gone and seen it in the theaters. I wish I would have saved that
Oh,
money
you
for
saw it in
something else.
theaters. I
Yeah.
watched it on Disney Plus and then turned it off.
Yeah.
Take a nap.
So, and I went with my wife, so it cost twice as much because the 2 tickets. Anyway, what
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like when we got home, she made me repent. For
Yeah.
making her see it.
Yeah. Anyway, our last pick for the naughty list for movies is Cookies.
I mean, y'all have
Maxine.
heard me
Yeah.
bash this movie repeatedly since
Yeah.
July, but it's horrible. It's awful.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because I mean, as far as the trilogy goes, I like the first one. I love Pearl. And then they were setting this up to be like a 80s erotic thriller kind of movie. So I'm like, I grew up on USA Up All Night and Silk Stockings. This is my jam. This
Yes.
like this should be perfect. And it was just stupid and awful and
Yeah.
a complete waste of time, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, I don't think they had, it's almost like they went in without a script.
Yeah.
With just an idea without a script.
No, well,
right?
I in my mind, I think Ty West went in being like, I want to pay an homage to this particular shot from this movie, and I'm going to build a story around this one
Around it.
particular shot, and I don't care if it makes sense
Mm.
because it doesn't make sense, and it's just
Yeah, that's the problem when everybody's trying to do trilogies all the time. It's
Yeah.
okay to just have 2 movies in a series. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
It's like they like I mean, how many trilogies can you name that have actually like stuck the landing? Not very many. So
The original Star. No, I'm just kidding.
oh, here
The
we go.
Phantom Menace.
Here we go. Oh,
In modern
please.
times, I would say like Lord of the Rings and Guardians of the Galaxy are the only ones that actually pulled it
Yeah.
off. in my
Guardians of the
opinion.
Galaxy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I like the third one. The second one was okay.
My
All
husband
right.
was talking to me
I agree
about
with you, Joe.
Guardians 2, and I was like, Guardians 2? They made a second one.
For the animated show
it's
there?
another
No, for
Guardians?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, there's
And
another
I
one,
guess after I saw the
Guardians
first
something.
one, I said, I'm cool.
Oh, the owl. The owl.
The Guardians of Gahuli, the Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like Zack
I
Snyder.
like
I was gonna say it's actually a pretty good movie.
I like it. I like the owls.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have our dealer's choice category. This is where people can just pick more or less whatever they wanted to talk about for something they enjoyed this past year. And we'll start with Chase. Chase.
All right. Does anybody here watch Dropout Television?
Mm-mm.
No,
I
but
never
even knew
watch
what it
a lot of
was.
adjacent.
No.
So
watched
this
a lot of
goes on
adjacent.
par with every conversation I've ever had about Dropout Television. No, I feel like I'm the only person in the world who watches it. I used to watch College Humor, and when College Humor went down, they formed Dropout. Like the remnants of College Humor formed Dropout, and they started as just like random skits and random things, but they're owned by Sam Reich, who's the son of Robert Reich, so he's got a lot of money underneath him. He's quite a nepo baby. So he's just hired a bunch of comedians and writers and like improv actors, and every person he's hired, one of their jobs is they have to create a show. They're literally just throwing shit at the wall and trying to get shows to work, and it's great. Like I love everyone that they try. Like there's a show called Game Changer, and every single episode's a different game, and part of the game is the contestants figuring out how they're getting points and what the game is. But like they just don't know. One time it was a 3-part Survivor episode. They didn't know going in it was going to be Survivor, but there's one called Thousandaires where everybody there's 5 people. They all get spend $1,000 on something to make everybody happy. See who gets used their $1,000 the most, and that's it. It's ridiculous. There's one called Smarty Pants, which is just people putting on like PowerPoint presentations about anything. Like just about anything.
I would excel in that. I would excel.
I wish that I could. I wish I would have wrote down what some of the episodes and stuff were about, because these shows are just ridiculous, and I love every one of them.
So
And
it's
they
pretty much
merged
like
with Dimension 20, so there's like a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons content on there too, if you like that kind of stuff. But that's just only half of it. The rest of it's just all these shows. There's one called Gastronauts, which is a food show, which I love cooking shows, especially cooking challenges. But this one's like every comedian gets to give the cooks something to make, like what they have to make. And one of them's like, I like eating a full heavy meal, so make me the best tasting heaviest meal. So they had to make a meal that weighed the most but also tasted good to win. Like, it's just stupid shit.
Okay.
There's one show that's like Mythbusters, just about stupid shit they think of, like, if you were to drive really fast and sing, could you hit a high C? Like, if you left a recorder stationary going past. Like, just stuff like that. And that's all it is.
It's like a show about game shows, like, basically.
Yeah, it's a lot of game shows. Dropout Television. They do a lot of game shows. A lot of something called Make Some Noise is one of their most popular shows. Just you guys have like TikTok or something. Follow them on there, and you'll get an idea of the stuff they do before you download the app and get a free trial or something. But it's fun. It's just a bunch of stupid shit, and I love it.
Cool. All right. So next up we have L.
Me?
Yeah, you.
What was the category?
Dealer's Choice. You have a
Choice.
podcast and your is it Stardew Valley pick?
Yeah. So as you guys know, I am obsessed with Comedy Bang Bang and CBB World. And so Hey Randy is a podcast on CBB World. It's like behind a paywall. And Tim Boltz plays this character, Randy Snuts, and it's like him and his like trashy friends and his girlfriend Carissa, and they just kind of talk about the duplicitousness of people, and they take like phone calls and they give advice, and usually it's not good. But I was telling Cookie this before. Tim Boltz does a certain voice, and when I tell you, it sounds exactly like Johnny sometimes. And it trips me out, like the way he speaks is very much. And I was like, dang, because like on the show, I think they're like giving like Oxnard, to be honest, Johnny. But I was like, sometimes when you say stuff, I'm like, is that sounds just like Johnny?
Well, they're further down the valley from where I grew up, so yeah, Oxnard. They're in the same valley that I grew up in.
But it's just really funny. And then Stardew, Concerned Ape, shout out to you for releasing the 1.6 update for console, because I do usually play Switch main on there. So that's been a lifesaver, which when they give you like how many hours you've played something, I don't need everybody to know my business like that, but it is something that I could like play while I'm doing other stuff, or, listening to podcasts or pretending to watch something.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we know you like video games, so I was like, oh, you got a video game pick in there. So
Well, it's old. I've been playing it since it dropped. Like, I think it's maybe 10 years old at this point, 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
But
Are you gonna
I've
grab
played
that
it
Switch too?
consistently. Huh?
Are you gonna get the Switch too?
You know what? I'm going
Come on.
to. Like, it's nuanced, because I've said this before. My husband used to work for Nintendo, and that didn't end well necessarily. But I will give them my money still.
It's hard not to.
Yeah. Especially because I like. The creator of the year is home.
yeah.
Put her on.
Well, she's not here. She's still
Okay.
she's still over there.
Don't lie to us now. She walks by behind you.
Yeah. Hi.
All right. So next up on the dealer's choice would be Dean's pick.
Oh yeah, Helena Winhorn. This is great. Tom King, and I don't even know how to say her name.
Isley.
Yeah. Something like that. You said it much better than I could have tried. But this is so good. Like, the covers for it are sweet, but the interiors are even better. Every issue, there's about 5 spreads in it that are knockouts. it's about this girl who she's an orphan and she goes to live with her grandfather. And I don't want to give it all away, but they travel to other worlds and fight monsters. And but she's like a 16-year-old drunk, like complete mess, just getting trashed all the time and fighting. It's really, really well done. And it looks incredible. I mean, there's nothing like this on the shelves looking this good. It's pretty wild.
I only know their art from the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but
Yeah,
I love
that
it.
was great.
Is that a Black Label book?
No, I don't think so anyway.
No, I don't believe it is.
Who puts it out? DC?
I thought it was Dark Horse.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Dark Horse.
Yeah, I cropped it. You can't see but I think I remember seeing Dark Horse
Yeah,
on
that
it.
was the last Supergirl book I read, I think, too. Was the one she
Yeah,
wrote
it was
on.
just really, really great. Looked forward to reading it. It was like one of those comics where I want to read it in my car before I leave the shop. You know, that kind of good.
All right, this next pick will definitely encapsulate what the category brings up. We're going from wacky streaming services to comics to Cookie's pick, which is food.
Poutine.
Oh,
heck yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I had this for the first time in my life when I went to Montreal.
Yeah.
And it changed my life. It is so good. I ate it every day while I was there.
You had it put in every day?
Every day.
Holy shit. Okay.
I would need some lactose pills. I was eating poutine every day.
It's just so good. And I've tried to recreate it at home. I cannot get the gravy right. Apparently Americans don't like cheese curds, and they're like, oh, mozzarella balls are the same. And then it's like, no, they're not.
It's not.
They're not the same.
No.
So, but
It's
it's delicious.
The squeaky cheese curds are the best.
Yeah, that's what you need. That makes that's the game changer right there.
Was that smoked meat on top of it?
That was ground beef, onions, and something else.
Oh yeah. Could you finish the whole portion?
No, I probably
What size?
about half that.
What size was this one?
It's huge. Like the plate was like this big. It was
okay.
huge.
This place only had the one size.
Yeah, they're just like, this is what you're getting. It's like, okay, thank you. With a ginger ale and French can, yeah. So
the next time you come up, we'll have to get more organized there. And
yeah,
I went somewhere recently that had poutine on the menu, and they used they just cut up mozzarella cheese sticks, like string cheese sticks, as the cheese. I was like,
that's a travesty.
I would have sent it back, and I don't send back food.
My husband just started making poutine randomly. I was just minding my own business, watching Juror Number 2, Clint Eastwood, jail time. That would have been on my naughty list. And he's like, oh, here. I'm like, what's this? He's like, oh, I made some poutine. I said, excuse me? And it was divine.
It was good, yeah.
So good.
You did a good job.
But he's like, he likes to cook. Like, he loves to experiment with recipes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I let him.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please
Awesome.
do.
Awesome.
Delicious. And I'll go to Canada.
Hey.
Only to eat. Won't know I'm there.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next up, we have Johnny's pick.
Yeah, man, Pantheon. This is a AMC Plus show, but I watched it originally the first season on Netflix, and yeah, dude, it's like it really reminds me of like Alex Packnandell's first book, Arcadia. Really cool. It's about people uploading themselves online and kind of becoming freeing themselves from the tasks that they were assigned to do and kind of becoming terrorists like of the digital world. It's a really neat show. Kind of got some superhero elements to it, but not really, only when they're in the digital world. And it's got this really kind of cool YA angle to it. I'm not a big fan of YA stuff, but the stuff with the daughter and Caspian, the little hacker kid, I thought was all really well written. And the second season goes really nuts, man, and like kind of shows you like just how the technology advances really fast. And yeah, much like what was it? Arcane. It's a 2-season and done show, but like man, it's a really packed, really good 2-season and very Jonathan Hickman-esque too. But like he never does like teen stuff, so like that's like kind of a Jonathan Hickman and Chip Zdarsky teamed up to do a story together. You kind of get something like Pantheon, I think, and I highly recommend it. Really good. The second season came out this year. That's why it's on my list.
Cool.
I've only watched
Cool.
the first season. Netflix. I liked it.
Yeah, I started watching it because Johnny said how much she liked it, so I started watching it too.
Did you like it at all, or is it a little too slow for you?
It is a little slow. I will say that, but I mean, it's got a lot of great
It's
voice
kind of
actors
quiet
in it.
too, huh? I feel like there's a lot of quietness around some of the scenes, and I'm like,
Well,
I
dude,
can, I
it's
can
weird.
hear the choppers in my ear. You know, I don't like that.
It's weird, but around like the 6th episode, it really takes off and like it doesn't fucking slow down after that.
Okay.
Like it almost breakneck fucking changes tempo on you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like you said, like that 3D printer or defragger brain thing was really weird. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird. Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, the idea to outdo AI by doing UI, uploaded intelligence, like just put people in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a scary thought, and I wouldn't put past some of the fucking psychos that are in charge of the tech world to even do it. You know what I mean?
Like the guy who's in charge there, like just like, oh, I'll just take this guy, and he owes me whatever, so I'll decide how he can repay it.
What happened to the poor Indian guy that kind of becomes the first villain?
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
So tragic. His boss just takes him and forces him to become.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's when the machine goes in and copies his brain. It was gruesome. Anyway, yeah, not bad. I mean, I still haven't finished it, so I couldn't say all the way through. But yeah, I watched it. It's definitely interesting concept. All right, next up, I got my dealer's choice pick, and it is a TV show. Barasik, season 6. 6 seasons. This is like I'll put it back on if you want to look at it. This is Joseph Gilgan's show. He produces it. He picks all the music, the soundtrack for it. Basically, it's kind of like Guy Ritchie. If you like Guy Ritchie, you'll enjoy this show. It's just a bunch of, poor people, like just scheming and for money, coming up with these heists, these schemes, these just if you grew up in a small town, you know the type of people. I have a few of my friends that are like that. They just scheme, like any kind of like little scheme they can get going to make some money. They try to get all their friends in on it to help them.
Heck yeah. It was catalytic converter Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man, do you know the price of catalytic converters? Yeah, during the holidays, all the postal workers are on vacation. They park all their cars over there. We just have to jump the fence and like this type of stuff.
Saving Canada.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that show's kind of like that, and it's fun. I love Joseph Gilgan, and this show definitely oozes his personality and charm. So yeah. All right. Next up, we got Johnny. Actually, Johnny's going all out with the because we're going into the naughty pick for dealer's choice, and
yeah, this was another good one. Like I really wanted to talk about this, but like the season's not over. Dan. Oh man, if you're not watching this anime, you're really missing out. It is just wild. It's insane, and it makes the naughty list because there's a lot of talk about bananas and sex organs being stolen and used for magical purposes, and it's cute. I'm not a fan of love triangles, but there's actually like a love square going on in this show. And I am actually enjoying it because it's just written so well, you know what I mean? And like the characters are cute, you know what I mean? Like it
it's fun. It's really fun. It's weird, great. It's wacky, it's got a little bit of everything in it. And the animation is great.
You watching Dan Dino?
Yeah, it's great. It's really good.
Yeah, I remember
Way
I was
into it.
I was watching it, and when the old granny in the first episode starts talking about wanting to munch his dong, I'm like, Joe's gonna love this show.
And I
When
do.
I first turned it on, I was like, I don't know if this is really for me. You know, like the first 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh, this is totally for me.
Yeah.
Way
It gets wild fast, you know.
Where's it streaming?
It's on
Netflix.
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 Yeah.
And season 2 is in production. It's going to start simulcasting in July. So, like, there is going to be a season 2 after the first 12 episode run.
I'll put it back. This is just one of the posters for it, but
It's
yeah,
so weird.
It is. Yeah, it's a fun.
In the
it's
best way.
really fun. Yeah.
If you like conspiracy theory stuff and like ghost hunter type shit, it spoofs on all of it pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a mishmash of just it's good. Ghosts, extraterrestrials. Yeah. All right, cool. So that closes out our naughty, not our naughty, but our dealer's choice. Now we'll get into old but new. So like I said, this is something that maybe you just discovered this year that didn't come out this year, but that you think deserves a shout out or is something you liked. So we'll go with the first one here. We have Cookie once again is first. I think you're always first because I
was so punctual with my picks, right?
Possibly, yeah. You were the first one to get them in. So
Yeah.
So here we go. We have your pick here.
So this
Die.
is Die. It's a comic about these kids who get sucked into a role-playing game, and it's super nerdy and super fun. And yeah, I don't remember when the first issue came out, but I just read it this year, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
2019 or 2020 was around when we first started doing the show, I think,
No.
when this came out.
Pretty sure 2019.
Yeah, 2019, I think.
Yeah,
I think-
lots of twists and turns and nerdy Easter eggs, and
I think the series is wrapped up since then.
yeah.
Yeah, I really liked Die. That was one of my favorite back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gillen's a pretty talented Brit, man.
Then he went on. Didn't he do that King Arthur book after this?
I think he was doing it at the same time.
Same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was some hot shit back then. He was one of the hotter creators back then, putting out a few really solid books. Yeah. All right, cool. Next up, we have Elle's pick.
Oh, I just got into Lincoln Lawyer as a series. I saw the movie a while ago. Didn't buy it. Didn't buy Matthew McConaughey as a local East Los Angeles Latino. But this one was more spot on. I believed it. He spoke Spanish. But I really enjoyed this, and I wasn't even gonna really watch it. I was like, let me just put it on. I need some background noise while I play Stardew Valley, which was mentioned earlier. The way I finished it in a couple days, I said, this is fantastic. I'm obsessed with it. I'm curious to see how they proceed from this last season that came out.
Yeah. The setup for season 4 is wild, right?
Wild.
Yeah.
And I even recommended it to some of my other friends, and they watched it, and then they ended up reading the books. And I was like, whoa, I didn't commit to all that.
The books are excellent. The books are really good.
I read the first one a while ago, when the movie came out. But since then, I haven't read anything since then. But this is actually really good. I really enjoyed it. No complaints. Even though they have that trope of the whiny teenage daughter, which I hate. I hate a disrespectful teenager. Sometimes I won't even finish a show if there's a disrespectful teenager. But this one was okay enough. You barely see her. Let's be real.
She's barely. And she only kind of gets really bad, and I think it's in the third season when what happens to the driver kid.
Yeah.
The driver kid, yeah.
Which when I tell you, I was I looked down for 1 minute and looked up, and then I started crying, and I was on a FaceTime call with my brother, and he was like, "Are you on drugs?" I was like, "What happened?"
They made you really like that little fucker, man.
Yeah, he was really likable. I actually watched this, and it almost took me maybe a little over a week to get through the 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Because you and Johnny were having a discussion about it on on one of the chats, and I was like, oh, I'll go check it out. And so I watched. Yeah, and it took me about a week and a half. I got through all 3 seasons.
Oh yeah,
The
I remember.
actor has good energy too. He's so likable.
Yeah,
I was like, you're right. No matter what happens, even if you relapse, I'm with you.
I was watching it like at the beginning of season 2. He's like still sweating Nev Campbell so bad. I'm like, why is this dude like?
I
And then
remember
like,
you saying that. Yeah.
and then like the season episode 2 happens, and he meets the crazy cook lady, and I was like, okay, never mind. Like this show
For
does
which-
know what's up.
I was like, oh, that's the girl from Once Upon a Time, which didn't click with me because they made her look so wretched in every episode of Once Upon a Time that I was like, oh, you are actually really beautiful. Like, they played you dirty on ABC.
All right, next up we have Johnny's Old But New.
Oh yeah, Joe introduced me to the book outlet or the book
Yeah.
factory book
Yeah,
outlet.
the book outlet.
I ordered this because I love anything Invaders era from classic Marvel, and this is Chip Zdarsky kind of doing a throwback to like the old team, but like them having to deal with now, and like Namor's gone crazy again. He's going to try to kill all the humans again, and Cap and the original Human Torch, Winter Soldier, and Toro got to try to save him. It's very well done. It's a nice little 13 issue little banger, and I really enjoyed it, man. Like, I didn't really read too much of Chip's Marvel stuff besides his Daredevil, and I gotta say, out of like those guys that came from Image that worked at Marvel, he really understands the heroes and kind of writes them a lot better than a lot of the other guys do. And yeah, he's very enjoyable. I highly recommend if you can find. So I got the hardcover for this for like $11, and it was well worth the money. I really enjoyed it. It's up there with like me finally reading Immortal Hulk, and like, it's actually really good. You know what I mean? And that's rare for me to say for something modern Marvel.
All right.
The Chip's got the goods, in my opinion, when it comes to writing those old hokey heroes.
I read it when it came out, and I remember really liking it.
Yeah, book outlet is good if you guys want to go buy heavily discounted comics like trades or hardcovers. Go check it out. It's
Random
it's-
assortment too. You never know what the fuck's going to be on there.
no,
Another pick
but-
that's from book outlet too that I'm going to be talking about in a minute.
but it's a liquidation site, right? So yeah, so that's why you get them heavily discounted. But you find some gems on there. All right. Next up, we have Dean's pick for Old But New, and it's his Arthur Adams art book.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I got this Flesk book, the limited to 200 edition, and it's sick. It's hardcover. There's a lot of historical stuff about the guy in there. It's just an amazing book. It came with a set of prints from the book. They're all signed. I have the new Flesk book that they're doing with him reserved, and it should come this next month. And I've got a CGC sketch out with Arthur Adams right now that I'm waiting for. So yeah, pretty pumped. Cool
Did
book.
you get that? Did you get that from New York Comic Con?
No, I brought it with me to try to get him to sketch
Sign
it.
it.
but
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna happen. It's already signed. I wanted to sketch, but he's impossible to. The only way you can get him to do something is through one of those CGC send away things,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer.
Oh, cool. All right. Next
That's
up,
awesome.
next up we have Chase's pick.
Yeah, so this is from 97. I am kind of when it comes to Mike Allred, I pretty much will pick mostly anything he does up. You know, I really dig Mike Allred's style, his art, his writing, all that. And this is just a little. I found this at a random comic store whenever I was on vacation this year, and it's just 3 issues. Superman and Madman pretty much split like personalities, power. Well, Batman didn't have any powers, but you get some of Superman's powers and bodies. They switch dimensions, and the Madman / Superman hybrid costume is pretty awesome looking. The logo is pretty great, but it all turns out to be Mr. Mixelpidlix, you know, be the bitch like he does.
We talked about him on.
But this was
last
actually
episode.
how I told Johnny that I knew how to say his name is actually because of this episode. Lois Lane gets him to break it down phonetically, and
In the comic,
It's Mix Yez Piddleick is how you say it.
That's yes, Piddle. Okay.
Mix Yez Piddleick. But yeah, it's just a 3-issue thing. It's very all red. You know, they fight at one point. Madman fights what is very clearly Steve Buscemi as Mr. Pink, like from Reservoir Dogs. Like, no question about it. It's what he drew.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's just good. It's a good, quick, just Superman Madman story. If you like all red, like Madman, it's got all the Madman side characters, Dr. Flim, Joe, like they're all there. It's just really good. I enjoy it. I enjoy most Mike Allred stuff. His David Bowie comic is pretty awesome.
Red Rocket 7.
Mm.
What are you doing, Joe?
Just so I'm up next. So my old but new is Kings of Nowhere. This got released by Dark Horse, and I mean this book is just action packed. It's crazy. Basically, I was just checking to see how many pages. There's this one fight scene in it, and it's like a 30-page fight scene. It goes on for 30 pages. It's insane. It's the action in this is on par with Luther Strode. I mean, if you dig Luther Strode, pick this up. You'll love the action in it. The art is fantastic. Let me get a good page here. The art is just, like it's just scene after scene of just them fighting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is volume 2. The first volume is in color, and then they switched it up to black and white. So yeah, and it's if you love fast-paced action comic, like I mean, this definitely foots the bill. Like it'll definitely scratch that itch big time. So anyone who's a fan of Luther Strode, pick this up because it has like nonstop action, and it's like more gangster oriented with like these animal creatures, these beasts, and yeah, go pick it up, man. I think volume 3 should be coming out this year sometime soon. So yeah,
we're going to be doing an episode on that in the new year. We're going to be teaming that up with something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, really fun stuff. All right. Last pick for old but new is Johnny goes with a naughty pick.
Yeah, this is another one I got off a book outlet, Repo by Rick Spears and Rob G. This is totally a book that couldn't be made now. It's highly problematic with some of the story elements, but that's what makes it so damn entertaining. Like it's something that Image would gladly put out when they did, I think in 2003, but like now they'd be too afraid because it would interfere with their Toy Factory Jeff Johns shit that they poop out. But like back in the day, they were fearless, and this book is proof of that. I highly recommend it. It's probably one of my favorite things besides the original Repo Man to have the word repo in its title. Because yeah, it's way better than that Jude Law movie or Repo, the Genetic Opera. But yeah, dude, this book is it's insane, man. It's like Repo Man meets Blade Runner, you know. And
I mean, if you have insomnia, just go get that Jude Law movie. You'll fall right to sleep.
Well, Joe, what did you think of this? I know I got you to read it too.
You know I liked it.
Yeah.
You know I liked it. I'm in the process of reading Body Bags right now, and yeah, it's good.
Wait, can you guys time clip that? I liked it, the way he said it.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Actually, I think it was, I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the main character is like this badass chick, right? And she gives no fucks, right, about language or anyway. She's a badass, basically.
She meditates with a bag over her head, like a Ziploc bag. Like she's like all into dying, kind of. Like it's got some really rude elements to it, but that's what makes it so charming.
She's got a mouth on her anyway. That's just it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna get deeper into that in the new year because, like Joe said, he's reading something, and then we're gonna team it up and do a comics that Image wouldn't put out nowadays.
Books and comics you couldn't make today. All right. So, all right, now we're getting into our comics categories. Now we'll start with creators and finish up with our favorite books. So first up, we have Chase for creator.
Michael Moriti. Okay, so he hasn't done a whole lot for me like this year, but everything he did do, I loved. Most notably, one of them is just because I already put something else for the comics. Nice. So most notably, he was co-writing Dick Tracy this year, and that was great. Like I really have enjoyed Dick Tracy. It's got 5 issues out so far. I don't believe the 6th one's came out yet. It might have, but I haven't got it yet.
Oh shit!
But Dick Tracy's really good. He put out Barbaric versus Deathstalker, Barbaric Born in Blood as well, which were great. And as of right now, there's still 5 days left on Backer Kick to back his Book of Nosferatu, which is him going back into horror, which is where he started with the plot. I don't know if you guys read that, but
Yeah, I love the
I just really, really have enjoyed Michael Morisi.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That ties into one of the other picks, because the other co-writer is one of the picks for one of our other books for Dick Tracy.
Nice. Sir
Alex Segura.
Segura, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Johnny's creator pick.
Yeah, we got DB Andre. Like I picked him for creator because his book Morningstar was going to be my nice for comic, but he got robbed sadly at the last minute. But he is just he's just been a gentleman and a squire ever since I met him. When he was doing Resonant, and his book Morningstar was very good. He's really good at doing like these kind of claustrophobic family horror stories. And yeah, he's one of the main reasons why I'm so excited for all the stuff Mad Cave's putting out right now, to see him over there working with Tim Daniels, like doing the stuff that they used to do at Vault. But
yeah, Mad Cave is doing good things.
Yeah, they're on fire at the moment. They are the label, in my opinion.
All right. Next up, we have Cookie's pick.
Ooh.
Tula.
You recognize that picture?
I do. It's the happiest day of my life. Yeah. So my pick was Tula Lotte. I've been following her for a while through the covers, and then when she started doing interiors again, I really jumped on board, and I absolutely loved it's gonna be my comic pick of the year, so I don't want to spoil too much, but
it goes hand in hand, right? So
yeah, but I love her style, and her writing
I agree.
is great. So
and you got to be at Comic-Con, so that's wonderful.
I did.
She draws a woman very nicely, that Tula Lotte.
Yes, she does. So
I will say I have several of her. I have her Zatanna cover right beside me.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
And Barnstormers. I loved Barnstormers.
Oh, so good.
It was so good, and it was so pretty. She's very talented.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Next up, we have Dean's pick. I put this. He gave me 3 picks, and I decided to put this under the creator category.
It works too, because Carolyn Cash, she's I think she's awesome. She wins all these awards for pee pee poo poo, and yet her online persona is the exact same kind of like trashy girl. She's like, I'm just watching 90 Day Fiance drinking 40 ounces. I like her online persona. I like her comic. Her comic's kind of like it reminds you of Crumb or Klaus. One of the strips is just about trying to find a Dunkin' Donuts to piss at.
Relatable.
Yeah, and they're great. It comes out on Silver Sprocket, which is another. Silver Sprocket's a really cool label, and I like what they're doing. And it's weird for me being a straight dude, being so into Silver Sprocket stuff. But the way they put it out, it's all it transcends. Like, it's not about sexuality as much as it is being a normal person and living your everyday life. And I really appreciate that. And I think it goes for everybody. I don't know. Carolyn Cash is pretty dope.
She wrote one of my favorite panels. I think it came out, I don't know if it was new or not, but around Christmas. And it was the one where it was like, my parents believed me to be a stillborn, even though I was clearly alive.
Yeah. She's a
and it's so funny to me.
All right. On that note, let's go with L's creator.
Well, I only believe in very serious work. But I got into Zach Thompson around like Undone by Blood time.
Mhm.
And then I Breathed a Body, Lonely Receiver, etc. And then even how do you pronounce his name? The Marvel guy, Kazar.
Kazar?
Yeah,
Kazar?
I even like that little guy. I just like that how he incorporates science into most of his stories and stuff.
Mhm.
And then, of course, Brother of All Men, R.I.P. Never got to get finished. Burn in Hell Aftershock. No shade. But like
All
this year,
shade.
right,
Yeah,
all shade.
exactly.
All
All
shade.
Chicken Devils
you
never got
want.
finished either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a shame. But like I think this year he had what, like Hunt for Skinwalker, Blue Book, Cemetery Kids, Blow Away, Unbeing, Cruel Universe, Body Trade, which was one of my personal favorites this year. I just think he's consistent, and I like that he writes. It's like consistently in his voice, and I just like that science factor that he always like weaves into whatever he's writing. So,
Cool.
yeah, Zach Thompson, shout out to you, Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada.
I believe he's a
Blame
maritime boy.
Canada.
Yeah.
He's not. He's what?
I believe he's a maritime boy.
Oh, what does that mean in Canada?
He was born on a boat, I guess.
That's what I was thinking too.
If
Like,
he said maritime in America, I would have been like, he's from what, Maine?
Yeah, actually, he's from right around Nova Scotia. Yeah, so right in that neck of the
Nova
woods.
Scotia.
Exactly.
Mm.
Or Prince Edward. I'm not sure. One or the other. All right. So my pick. We have my pick left. I'm going with David Propose. I mean, this guy this year has been like not unlike L's pick, just all over the place. He's been putting stuff out with Mad Cave, Dynamite with his Space Ghost. He's been over at Marvel doing stuff. I mean, he's been all over the place, and so I think he's been kind enough to share review copies of all his work with us. So I mean, I have to give him a shout out, and then just an all around nice dude. Like he's very giving of his time, and very appreciative of any time anyone gives him, whether you're big or small. And I mean, you got to respect that. He's just a really, really
for a
nice
long time
person.
too. Like he's followed me ever since I reviewed Spencer and Locke 8 years ago or whenever that came out.
And just because he's working at Marvel now doesn't mean his britches are too big to slum it up with the likes of us and stuff. So I mean, shout out to him. So got to respect that. All right. So now we'll do our naughty for creators. This one, I'll go. Mine is kind of a little bit in the same vein as Chase, and mine ties directly to David. So I'll go with mine first. Action Lab. It was just announced that all the creators that got together and launched a class action suit against Action Lab. The courts threw it out, so now they'll have to file independently to try to get the rights back to all their all their IPs. One of which is Spencer Locke, which David would love to continue working on, but because Action Lab has a bad reputation of not paying their creators and so on and so forth, and not wanting to continue books, and they don't want to relinquish the rights. So this has been an ongoing thing for going on 3-4 years now of creators trying to get the rights back to their books. And so poo-poo caca on Action Lab. I mean, like if you're not going to do anything with it, at least let the creators have it back so they could pursue to continue the story that they wanted to tell. I don't know. I don't understand.
Is Marcus Nasso and Jason Murr and wrapped up in that with Voracious?
Pretty much everybody, like the zombie tramp guy, the chick that did Tomboy, like anybody that had a book at Action Lab is involved in it. But now they're gonna have to do it separately, and like there's even a chance that they're gonna lose at that, because supposedly like the fact that Action Lab sells digital copies, like that means that their books are still in print.
Technically, that's like that's a loophole. Yeah, because it was, as long as they're keeping the books in print, they retain the rights to publish it. And the lawyer said there's no distinction between digital or actual physical prints. So as long as they offer it digitally, they retain the rights for the publishing rights.
They're not printing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
And
know.
at this point, it has to just be ego. Like, there's no other
Right.
reason.
Yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
so all right, so we'll go with Chase next because this was one that he explained to me. His pick is Valiant Comics.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off by saying I'm a big fan of Valiant Comics. I got all the death matches right here beside me. I was talking to Johnny about Zephyr Faith like comics and stuff. I'm a big fan of Valiant. And I remember back in 22 they went down. If you guys remember, they're going on to one book a month now. After that, and me assuming it's because money. They don't have enough money to pay their creators, to do more than just the bare minimum of one book a month. And then this year in March, they posted and then immediately took down after it got a lot of hate against it. They were looking for a job posting for people who can do AI based work. So they posted they were looking for that after they had pretty much cut down only one title 2 years ago. So I figured they were trying to save money, but now I guess they were even further off because they were trying to find people who could do AI for them. And just, it's hard for me. I mean, and it's just my personal opinion, but it's hard for me to support the company, even though I really am a fan of them for something like that. But I have a good news here because I did a little looking this morning and they made an announcement not too long ago that they're relaunching the entire Valiant line in March of next year, and they're promising new reader-friendly titles to hope draw in new readers, like new reader-friendly. So you're not going to jump in and not know who the hell Ninjak is. Like I think they're going to
Reboot it all
ease you
over
into
again.
it, but yeah, they're relaunching all of Valiant.
Another relaunch.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So hopefully it works, but they just it just really bugs me. Me that they.
Well, a lot of
Post it.
people
Post it.
kind of that AI line there. A lot of people, it's kind of like when the NFTs happened, right? You had the two camps, and so it's a touchy subject.
Well, it's weird because I keep seeing AI comics on Kickstarter, and they make so much money. Like there's one that's running right now. It's like a horror book. I'm just like, how is this 700% fucking fulfilled or
right?
Funded, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even a Gooner comic too. Like what the hell?
I don't know. People, I don't know.
And I'm not like, I think I said to Johnny before or Joe that I'm not like completely anti-AI. I see it as a tool. I can see where you could use it to you're trying to figure out a design for something. You're trying to figure out. I can see where you could use it to help you do something, but it can't be the finished product. It's just a tool for you to use to create something, I think.
It is
Bounce
kind of like
ideas
you need
with.
to be like, how do I empathize with somebody in this situation? One time I used one of the responses I got, and I was like, actually, that seems kind. I don't know if it's just a spectrum thing that I couldn't come up with those words, or but it worked out for me. But I do appreciate when a company is like flat out, we're 100% not using it, like Afterlight did. We're like absolutely not using AI, because I think sometimes people will be like, I will not follow anybody who supports AI, but I will 100% admit that sometimes there's certain things where I'm like, that's AI? I don't know. Like I had no idea until outside of the Shrek stuff, but like the less obvious things, I'm like, I had no idea this print or this thing was done in AI. And I feel like there should be a little bit of grace in that, in people learning the difference between the two.
Yeah.
But I mean, as time goes, it's going to get harder and harder to tell, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's the worst it's ever going to be right now.
Yeah. It's awful though. Like the thing I hate the most about it is the AI hate mobs. Like like right now it's Dan Panosian. They're all like, Dan Panosian. There is absolutely no proof that his covers are AI. I think he's brushed them, digitally, which a lot of guys do. But they're just dragging him like nonstop, and a few people have been like, "Well, where's your proof?"
Yeah, exactly.
Show me.
Yeah.
But nobody has any. It's just from looking at it. There's no six-fingered girls on there. They just think the way he draws looks like, and he's even shown his process, shown his sketch process, and they still, I don't know. The AI hate mob is they're brutal.
It's intense.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they were able to catch a Sorrentino, so like, yeah, it's just gonna be like the same thing as the groomer thing. You know what I mean? It's just a different thing that they're gonna look for somebody every week to tear down. That's just
Yeah.
And you're still on Twitter, Norton. What do you expect, man? Like that's just
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's
That's all I
another
talk to.
layer. Yeah, because sometimes I don't see stories or I don't see stuff saying like, oh, so and so did this. And I'll like talk about something on like Blue Sky or Threads, and then I'll get a message like, did you know? I said no, because I'm not. Twitter seems to be the place where you get the tea on drama and stuff.
It's
But I
where all
left
the
there
filth
over a year
happens,
ago
yeah.
now.
Yeah, but
And
even
I'm
then,
like, I
I'm
don't
on
know.
Twitter, and I still don't see it half as much as
I don't see
Dean
what's. I
does.
don't know what's happening.
I'm in the trenches.
All right. We have one more. We'll kick off. I think we have one more naughty pick that's actually a bad thing. I'm not sure. And then the rest is all like positive. We'll end the show with positivity.
Yeah.
So this is I should have double checked before with Chase, but this is Chase's pick for naughty.
Oh
I
no,
don't know
this
if
is
it's-
naughty. Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good naughty or a bad naughty, but
It's
we'll
not.
go-
It's not a good one. So I'm a big fan of Annihilation. You know, I don't like the original and then Annihilation Surge and all that. I don't think I like a lot of Marvel's big event things, but I've always been a fan of Annihilation. And you know, this was Annihilation 2099, and I'm a 90s kid. I loved 2099 stuff too, you know, and I don't want to. I'm not going to talk bad about the writer Steve Orlando because I like Steve Orlando. He's done a lot of good stuff. But it's just, I mean, I'm going to have to spoil it to talk about it, but it's just the laziest writing. Like it's who is Nova 2099, and then dun dun dun, it's Wolverine. Like I'm tired of always being Wolverine thing. Like they pick one person, he'll still be alive in 2099. Let's make him the last Nova. And I think it's super lazy to just use Wolverine for stuff like that.
Yeah. I hear you.
Agreed.
It's a little disappointing. I'm not knocking all of Annihilation 29, just issue 1 because I really liked the last issue. It was good with Dracula landing on a planet of null things, and he controls darkness and everything. Like, it's really cool, but I just wasn't a fan of the whole. Just here's Wolverine again.
Yeah,
he'll be alive at that point. And I think they used Wolverine in like Jason Aaron's Thor thing to be in the future too. He was like the Phoenix Force or something. Like this shit's been done. Like I just yeah. That's it. That's the only reason.
Big two, you know. That's one of their problems, right? Too much Batman, too much Wolverine.
Yeah, and I don't blame Steve Orlando for it. I think it was already set in stone. I think he just had to write it.
And Marvel, you have to do what the editors tell you, man.
Right. And it's CB Cebulska as the editor on that. So,
yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Mr. Fake Japanese man. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start. We're in our final category now. We'll do comic. So we'll start with the naughties, but I think they're both good naughties. So we'll start with Johnny's this time. So here's Johnny's good naughty.
Yeah, this one goes out to the homeboy, Adrian Choleric. He really outdid himself with this nasty, just disturbing little gem of indie goodness, man. Like this book, if you haven't read it yet, I feel bad for you. It's one of the greatest things that came out this year, in my opinion. And oh man, like I know he's working on so many other things, and I want issue 2 of this so bad. Adrian, get on that, please, bro. But if you haven't read it, this is about Finn and the day his dad left, when the giant sitter came and sat on the hill and just changed his entire life. Except it kind of really isn't at the same time. You got to read it to find out. But oh my God, dude, this book is just insane in the best possible ways. And Adrian, I love you, bro. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas with your crazy family, bro.
I think it was definitely one of the best, most unserious twists on the title that I've ever read in a comic. And like once you read it, I'm like, this is so like dumb, but in like the best way. You know what I mean? I was like, this is fantastic, and it's so ridiculous that I honestly felt dumb that I'm like, why didn't you connect that before?
I literally thought it was going to be a story about a babysitter.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be
Yeah.
about a baby.
And Joe's like, well, he was always drawing the big guy sitting on the hill. And I'm just like,
Yeah, he never.
but
Yeah, right.
I never
I
put
thought
that
it was a
together, though.
perspective piece. You
He
know?
never misled anyone ever.
He never,
along
yeah.
the way. Yeah, I was like, no, dude, it's just this dude that sits on a hill with the
And that
striped
makes
socks.
it so much better because it's like on the center. And
Yeah.
even the lore, I think it makes it even more mysterious, even though it's so obvious that it's like, okay, you got me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
nailed it.
it's- yeah. All right. We have one more naughty for comic book, and we'll go with one that I naughtied with Cookie, and I'm pretty
I
sure
want to
this
jump
is
in there. That one is great.
yeah. I'm pretty sure
This
this
is a good naughty for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
same here.
spicy.
Yeah, it's very spicy, but
Mhm.
fun. It's a fun,
Yes.
interesting, instead of it just being salacious, like love affair, this and that, it's kind of a twist on like the whole grinder hookup, swipe left, swipe right, like the way people meet now through socials and stuff with the apps. And it's a fun play on that. And you gotta love Maria Lovitz. She's got her her style. She loves her slightly salacious books. So this
Mhm.
definitely has,
Good stuff all year, too. She had this
Mhm.
and the things we didn't talk about last night, which
Mhm.
was
and
also
her next book just dropped. The first issue just dropped in December, I believe.
Violet
Lovely.
Flowers.
That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, that came
Yeah,
out a
so-
couple months ago, didn't it?
Also, issue 2 just dropped then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because this
Crave
this
was like
Crave and-
erotic
yeah.
Black Mirror.
Crave
Yes.
and,
Yeah, exactly.
all the
Yeah.
things we didn't do definitely made like my top for short series
Yeah.
this year.
Like
I
she's
love Maria.
she's like pizza, right? Or whatever you want to, or like sex, or
Poutine.
even when it's bad, it's good. She's great. I don't think I've read anything from her that I haven't enjoyed. I can't think of one.
Yeah, even stuff she just did the art for is great and reads like her
Mhm.
book because like there's nothing there and Loveless or Faithless. Like I don't think that Brian Azzarello actually wrote that. I think that
Yeah,
'cause it reads like her writing. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
her solo
Oh,
books.
for sure, yeah.
And I love
Uh,
Az, so I mean I don't want to knock the boy. He's always been solid.
yeah. All right, so let's get into it then. We'll go with all our nice picks now for books of the year, our favorite book of the year. We'll go with Chase ends up being first on the list here.
Nice. Yeah. Gotcha, man. Coming in Mad Cave Studios.
Yep.
I've been a fan of Gotcha Man since I was a kid. I first found it as G-Force on like Japanimation or something, I watched that there. Then I found out it was called Battle of the Planets as well.
What'd you call it?
So
What
Battle
was
of the
that?
Planet.
No, before that.
Gotcha, man. G-Force.
Japanimation?
Japanimation was like
You're
some
giving
kind of
away you're giving away your age there,
yeah. Oh, am I?
Japanimation. Yeah. You're a kid in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
So it was like this and Speed Racer and like all those type shows, and this was like kind of like one of the first things that really started getting me into like anime and stuff like that. So all the iterations that have come out, I got the one that came out in the early 2000s, and I was excited to have another one, and it's been great. Colin Bunn's been the writer. Chris Batista's been killing the art. It's the same Science Ninja team it's always been. It's the same 5, but they've introduced a beta team in this, and they're the people who have been training underneath them to take over if anything was to happen to them. So like it's really building up that something's about to happen to some of the main 5, and these betas are going to come in, the beta science team, and it's just really, really entertaining. And coincidingly, they're running a Galactor comic, so it explains like the leader of Galactor, Berg Katz, I think is his name. Just explains him. He's been a mystery forever. Like they're very androgynous. They're very everyone thinks they're the leader of Galactor, but they're not. Like it's been very good.
Yeah, Mad Cave is this year they've been putting out some great titles. So, all right. So next up we have Cookie's pick.
My pick is Somna, and this book is fantastic. It's co-written and co-drawn by Tula Lotay and Becky Cloonan. And it's witches, but not witches, and demons, and it's sexy, and I love it.
So your picks have a theme, sexy.
Yes, I like horny books.
You like
Very
horny,
much.
hence the vampire interview with a vampire pick for the show. What was your movie pick?
I got horny picks. What could I say?
What
Her
was your movie pick though?
I think it was Two Girls.
Long
I'm just
legs.
kidding.
Oh,
Long
Long
legs.
legs.
So long
Movie
legs.
theme.
Similar,
Yeah.
similar theme. Similar
Yeah.
theme.
So, breaks the trend a little bit there, but you know.
A little bit.
And Cookie's so funny because I have been on record as saying I hate Sounda.
I know.
I
I know.
I know. It just didn't. I don't know.
Did you
I'm
finish
good.
it or no?
Well, here's the thing for me is I can't get horny to a plague time sexy. You know, the threat of the Black Plague exceeds my want to sleep with these diseased men.
But
So
it's but it's not really a man. It's like
No, I
it's like
know.
it's like a sleep demon. It's
But I
sexy.
think that's worse because it's like, oh, so you just do what you want without protection ever. Okay.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
even like the black sheep skin.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, so I have no
No.
idea what you guys are talking about.
No, it's not. It's not a bad book. It just wasn't for me. I will say
Yeah.
that it's beautiful book. I love the back and forth
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It's just not my kind of book. But I could definitely see where Cookie, the deviant, which we'll get into later, where she loves it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. So next up we have Dean. Dean's pick would be Charles Burns' Final Cut.
Dino.
I think Dean passed out, man.
Did he fall asleep?
What an
Oh,
aesthetically
no, I was
pleasing
muted.
red
I was
hair.
muted.
picture.
Yeah, it's you, Dean.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
no, I mute myself because I don't want you hear me breathing like on the way.
Oh,
up.
that's the only reason why I tune in.
But yeah, this was the best book I've read in years. I love Charles Burns. I love everything that he does. This came out in France in 3 separate parts, and I could never read it because I don't read French, so it felt brutalized. I hated it, but because it's so beautiful, this book is incredible looking. Every page, it's about a kid named Brian who wants to make a sci-fi movie, and it's about like trials and tribulations of being in high school and being awkward and being weird, being embarrassed by your family. And one thing that I really picked up on it is, you ever want somebody to like something that you like, so you try to explain it to them for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, and you can just tell that they're not even listening to you. And it's
Yeah.
something that you love. And that's what this book like makes you feel like the entire time.
What were you saying, Dean? I wasn't listening.
Aw.
I'm kidding.
You brutalized me.
It sounds like a Charles Burns book, really. The way
Yeah,
you're describing
is
it, it's total Charles Burns, right?
completely on par with Black Hole.
Yeah.
I'd put it as even with Black Hole.
Even on par.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Cool.
I have to get it. I haven't read it yet. I did get Monica by Klaus though, which
That
is-
was great too. I love that.
Mhm.
Really love that.
Yeah, I have this one on the bookshelf. I just haven't had time to read it yet. All right.
Just
Next,
flipping through it's incredible.
Yeah. It's all black and white, right?
No,
Or is
there's
it in
color in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't even cracked it open. It's
Yeah,
still.
he got Guru Effects to color it for you, Joe.
Oh fuck. No, let's not go there. All right. Next up we have Elle's pick. Deviant.
Deviant. One of my favorite genres of books is anything that has the word deviant in or around it. And for me, this is like about a guy who's like obsessed with a killer from like 50 years ago, and whether or not the guy on death row is actually responsible for the murders that occurred then as they start to happen again. And sometimes I feel I do get some tinny and burnout, but I feel like this was like unique in itself. That
Is this co-written with someone
No.
else or no? Okay.
No, Hickson's doing the art. I don't think
doing
Hickson.
the art.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Got you.
And I believe the next arc is about to start in January or February.
Mm.
I think there's 9 issues out now, 8 or 9.
Okay.
Is it supernatural, El? Because like the way you described it, it kind of reminds me of the Denzel movie Fallen.
I guess you'll have to find out when you read it, huh?
So this takes place over the holidays?
Well, the killer dresses up as Santa Claus, if you will, and murders Ben.
Oh, there you go. That's
So
very apropos.
if you consider that Santa Claus-esque, holiday-esque, then I suppose. But yeah, no, definitely the first issue, it definitely starts out Mall Santa, murder, disgusting, disgusting, very much. Why would I want to read this in this time of year when I'm trying to be holly and jolly? And then you realize maybe this is what Christmas is all about, you know?
Put you in the spirit.
Yeah, put you in the spirit.
There you go. Yeah.
Hello, Casper. Am I right? Even he loves Christmas, I've heard.
El, do you feel like Tinian lost a lot of his power when he lost a lot of weight?
Can I be so for real with you? When he made it public that that's what he was doing, I kind of was like, oh, I really want to take a step back from social media because I don't care to know the personal lives of some creators. You know what I mean?
Right.
The mystique behind it. And
we saw all of his.
And I just was Cookie and we just read a book where the author clearly injected so much of her body image into the book that it detracted from the story.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get it. But if that's what the story you wanted to tell was, then tell that story. Not about wolves, sexy wolves. But the Deviant, I do feel like when the lesser publicized titles come out, I'm more inclined to read them from Tinian. I've kind of moved away from Something Is Killing the Children. I do still enjoy it.
Same.
But I do feel like the Deviant and like World Tree. Have
you read City Beneath Her Feet yet? That was particularly wonderful from him. I was like really surprised how good that was.
Town Above Her Hands.
Nice House by the Sea is really good.
Yeah, no,
mom jokes. You just can't help yourself with the mom jokes.
I do like Nice House by the Sea so far. Although I will say in Nice House by the Lake, there was a point in the series where I was like, we get it. There's gay people in this world. And that was no shade, but I feel like he hyper focused on an aspect of a storyline, and I was like, oh, I get it. We all get it. And also, why are we still talking about this? It's 2024.
Yeah, exactly.
The story is present time. You're a literal alien, my friend.
I had the same thing with Department of Truth with the guy constantly saying, I'm married to a man. It's just like, do you have another trait there, main character?
And that's something I do plan on catching back up with this year. And I hate to say how far behind I am on Department of Truth because it was my favorite for so long. But I do still enjoy his work. I think Razor Blades is something everybody should still get into. I love the curated stories in those books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I the Deviant do recommend. It is visceral at times, but I do enjoy the book as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Razor Blades was dope, man. You had Dan Waters working with Lucy Sullivan up in there, man.
And pay as you want online if you want the digital.
Yeah. Cool.
I like the Deviant too. The only thing I don't like about it was the timing that it came out. Like when the issues are coming out in the summer. I want it to all be Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. And what's going on? Like,
well, is the trade? Are they dropping the trade at over the holidays?
There's 2 trades. I think 1 and 2.
Okay.
But I am curious about.
Have
you guys heard of what's going on with Philadelphia?
No.
I almost put that on my list, but I was like, what happened? Like there was like 3 issues that came out this year, and then like it was just started to linger.
Image books do that. They'll go on. The creators will take long breaks so that they can keep the stories fresh. Like if you read Saga, it's fucking maddening. They do 3 arcs, then take like a whole year off, and then one time they took fucking 3 years off. Thank you very much, Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Like,
but I think Rodney. I think Roddy's taken the opportunity of all the popularity he's gained from it
Yeah.
to maybe do other projects that maybe
Mhm.
he feels like he might not get the opportunity to ever work on again. Like right now, he's like when Philadelphia came out, he was kind of a hot name, right?
Yeah.
So
But it's funny
he's
because they
trying
were
to cash in.
releasing 20 Past Rigor, which was in the Philadelphia universe,
Yeah,
and a couple other things recently, and I was like, okay, but what about the Philadelphia universe? That
yeah,
you...
yeah.
Because they had like issue, I forget the latest issue, but that one they had it listed for a long time, and now it's not even on
Yeah.
Diamond or
What was the
Lunar.
one with the girl in the horror blog? That was actually like the best series that they did
Nita
together, man.
Hawes. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, that was better than Philadelphia in my opinion.
20 Past Rigor and the werewolf stories he was telling on, oh, I what's the name of that website? Substack. I
Yeah.
did subscribe every few months to catch up.
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
a month, every 6 months to binge read. But his stories outside of Philadelphia connected. I was obsessed with them.
Well, that's cool. It might give Sean Alexander enough time to actually do some more Empty Zone, man, like his own stuff.
Mhm.
He's actually a really good storyteller on his own.
I think he was working on that. I think he made a post recently that he was getting back to it or something.
Okay, because he's been saying that for years, but like
Oh,
he just doing
okay.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Speaking of image books, Doll Parts just came out, the first issue, and it's sweet. It's
No
really
comment.
good.
Yeah,
No
but
comment,
we'll
guys.
let's
Oh,
let,
you didn't like
I
it?
know.
It was
No
so
let's
good.
let's get into it off air.
Yeah.
Off air. We'll keep that for an off air
Yeah,
discussion.
we've had that conversation with Elle a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, you already talked about it?
Well, we can talk about it. We'll get through the show, then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it'll turn
Should I
into a
leave
5-hour episode. All right, my next up will be my pick for comic, Precious Metal. This is the follow-up to Little Bird, which I loved. So you have Ian Bertrand coming back on art duties to write the what is it, like a kind of like a prequel to Little Bird by Darcy Van Polgust. And this is a 6-issue series by Image, which the trade is dropping in February, I believe.
March, I believe.
March
Yeah.
or February, yeah. And this is going to be a big boy. The trade's going to be 300 pages because each book is about 50 or 60 pages each issue of this.
Wow.
So you're going to be getting a 300-page trade coming. And if you like Little Bird, this does not disappoint. If you like your
Euro style sci-fi,
yeah, Euro style sci-fi, man, this definitely will scratch that itch for you. Fantastic looking book, interesting story, bizarre. I mean, it's got it all. It's a fun read. It's really good. All right. So last up, but not least, is Johnny's pick.
Yeah, I'm going with The Legendary Lynx from Mad Cave. Like, this is a book I didn't ever think that I would want or like, because it's just such a throwback. It is completely written to be a fictional, made up Bronze Age book from the 1970s that was lost and rediscovered. And they've actually created this ARG type lore around like the creators of the book that disappeared and stuff like that. So like the mystery around the book is actually as fun as the book.
It is.
But the book itself is just wonderful. It's a straight up it would be approved by the Comics Code Authority. It's written like an old comic, but it's really cool. You got this character, the Lynx, and she's kind of just a regular person that goes out and kicks ass, you know what I mean? And she works as a secretary in a newspaper. And the guy that the lead reporter that she's kind of got the hots for, he goes missing. He gets kidnapped by this guy called Mr. Void. She's got this ghost friend called the Apparition, and it's kind of like this big conspiracy between the villains, and like, oh, it's just really neat. It's really tied together super well, and it was a complete throwback to something that I didn't realize that I missed so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And like, that's just like legit old school superhero comics, the way that they were originally done. You know what I mean? Not trying to be edgy, not trying to be Grant Morrison-esque or anything like that. Just a fucking straight up superhero comic. And they nailed it, man. There's a 4-issue trade out, and I think that there's going to be continuing ongoing single issues starting in the new year, from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, this book was originally created for a novel that Alex Segura wrote called Secret Identity, where it talks about because in this one they go into the lore of the book, which was ghost written by I don't remember her name, but Secret Identity is a story of the creation of this book. It's a novel, and so he's like, we got to actually make the comic that this novel is the story of this novel, like the creators of the story. So he wrote the novel. It was a best-selling novel. So then they created the comic that the novel created for the story in the novel. And now they actually made the comic with Mad Cave, which is really cool. And now there's a follow-up novel. Alter Ego is what it's going to be called. So you have Secret Identity, this comic, the Lynx comic, and Alter Ego is going to be the second novel in the installment. This is all part of the same universe. So it's pretty cool. Like, and it's great. It does have that throwback art style. I loved it. I spotted it. Johnny and I were shooting this shit, and we're going through like all the Mad Cave stuff, and I was like, oh man, this book looks. I like. Basically, I just picked this up because I love the art in it. So then Johnny's like, oh yeah, and then he read it, and he's like, you got to read this, and I was like, oh fuck yeah. So I read it, and I also read it. It is great. It's definitely a fun, and they make it so. You question whether this lore around it is real or fake. That's how deep they get into it with the story around it. It's so good. It's really fun.
Yeah, the back of the trade is like this whole like web article about like the lore between the missing creators and like the old label that originally put it out, Triumph Comics and stuff like that. And it just was put together really well. I've seen other books try to do this, but like they don't really stick the landing with the style of the comic. They try to make it too updated and stuff. But this book is, I'm not kidding. Like you would swear you're actually reading something from the Bronze Age of comics. So
they even get a forward from whatchamacallit, and like they refer to this book influenced Alan Moore and all this stuff. Without this book, there'd be no Alan Moore Swamp Thing, or like kind of like. Anyway, it's great. It's funny because they had a forward by originally wrote the Hellblazer.
Jamie Delano.
Yeah, I think they get a quote from Jamie Delano, a forward for the trade written by Jamie Delano. I don't know if they changed the way they write his name, so it's not really him, but it's meant to. Anyway, I'd have to go back and check, but they really go. They go for it. Like,
but even without the backing lore, the book is fantastic. But the back lore ARG stuff makes it like super fun too.
Yeah, and that's another Mad Cave title. So yeah, they're on fire this year. Yeah, cool.
So yeah, man, that was our naughty or nice, man. And damn, like we can't keep it under 3 hours. I'm sorry, Joe.
It is under 3 hours, and we're 6, so I think we did a great job of keeping it under 3 hours.
So you're not twitchy about this because like last time?
No, we've never kept it under 3, and we're coming in just over 2.5, which I think is reasonable with 6 people on the panel.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Dean being fucking quiet, he's like doing other shit. Like, we're not
no, I have my mic muted the whole time.
He's like playing Metroid or something.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here. I use the phone, so I'm like looking at my phone and being like, "Oh, they're gonna hear me breathing and smoking and vaping," and so I just mute it like on every conference call for work, you know.
So this has been our 4th edition of the Naughty and Nice. So I hope people enjoyed it. I hope we recommended some things that you guys will go pick up and check out, read, or watch. Anyway, so yeah, thanks to everyone who came on and participated. It's always a good time. And
Thank you. This is fun.
Yeah, for real. We don't got anything planned until the 1st. We're going to be doing a launch party for the Public Defender. We're going to have Jeff back on and maybe a couple of the artists. That's going to be an early show. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So, yeah. We might do something before then, but not guaranteed. We'll see. If you guys are good. If you guys aren't naughty. But all right, we hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys later.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!